It's about to end next year. That's it. That's all it is.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, #1 listener-supported radio, the printing press for freedom at a time when freedom is needed the most.
What is going on here? I demand an explanation.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all, but it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio,
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, clocks for now. Time's up.
Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. Broken house, a smoking gun. On the run.
Implement confidence reporting. Missile warning, this is Beale. Stand by for confidence reporting.
SSCO, no malfunction.
Missile warning, no malfunction. Missile warning, this is Beale. Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high. I want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
It's a command center with a warning conference, stand by. It's a command center with a warning conference, stand by. It's a command center with a warning conference, stand by. The system display for East is medium. We have predicted impacts of moderate count at this time.
Hello, SAC warning controller, this is the airborne. Confirming inbound missiles in the U.S. Roger, understand. Major Reinhardt, we have 12 Sea-launched ballistic missiles inbound on U.S. now.
Stand by to copy the message. 85. Clack, boom, clack, boom, clack. Message follows. Alpha 7 8 November.
Double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios. It's time for the very first ever Southern...
It's Friday night.
I don't want you to be no slave, and I don't want you, baby, to work all day.
Well, we made it. It's raining like a sieve in the Santa Cruz Mountains. My name's Jimmy, and to the microcosm. It's on the air.
Love to you. I don't want you to wash my clothes, and I don't want you, baby, to keep her home. You know I don't want you, hey, any of Monday to be gone. I just want to make
Epic tournament. What is that?
I am here.
What was that? I hear
The
some.
crowd's got me all pumped up to start a new campaign over here, man. To make Maui Wowie legal again. It never was. Make it legal.
Well,
Free Maui Wowie.
it's too late. Isn't the voting over for this year? Man, this rain.
Yeah, but it wasn't even on the ballot. I mean, it's amazing to me that Hawaii is like one of the few states. Seems like all the other states, it's pretty much just recreational is legalized, right? Yet the place that needs it most, that has the best, still have to hide your stash, right?
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of places you can go find yourself a little pakalolo.
Hawaiian haze is the best weed I had in Amsterdam.
Mr. Rowe is here checking in from Spain. Hey, Mr. Rowe, hang on a second. You know why?
Hola.
We gotta get him in here. Rowe, hang on. Obviously, you heard Mr. Rowe there checking in from Spain, and he is the man of the hour for sure. Rock and Rio. Are you that? Are you hanging by the chair, by the hair, or your chin on the chair? Did you make it? I think he's there.
I made it.
There he is.
I think I made it.
All right. Well, listen, we made it another week, another 7 days. Obviously, Mr. Rowe is lighter than a feather. I see him. His energy field is slowly returning back to normal after being muddied by the intense negativity of the American country. How you doing, Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, you don't know how right you are. I'm doing light. I've discovered that I can eat the same amount of food over here and actually not feel so bloated and lose weight. There's something in the food in America.
Yeah, it's called poison and chemicals. I mean, people wonder why that is, and the only explanation for it is over there socialized medicine, and over here it's medicine for profit. So, if you want to test out some new additives, or you want to see how much weight you can put on people and see how many health issues you can cause to drive them into the hospital. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if there was some sort of a commission that you get. It's like, hey, Bill, look at this new preservative I got. Causes arthritis in about 20 years. How much you think I can get for it? Shit like that.
Let's see how many diseases we can cause a little tiny bit at a time.
That's for
You
sure.
know, a little bit of tetrazine here and a little bit of aspartame there. Sure.
I know, and they changed the name
Fructose.
they changed the name of aspartame. They changed the name of MSG. You never know what you're getting. Now they're recalling meat. You know, my mom's been around for 80 some odd years. You know, and she's sitting there going to me, "What the fuck's going on around here? This meat's bad. You can't buy meat. You know what's going on?" And she did say that too. By the way, my mom dropped the F-bomb. She doesn't have a problem with it. She's from Jersey.
The meat is like ground beef, looks like ground beef when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, I remember this kind of meat. The meat in America, like, for example, the ground beef is like now kind of this weird pate kind of mush. And,
exactly.
It's not like it was before.
It's that fucking shit called slime that they put in it. There's some. You remember this whole thing that came out, the slime, and it was like they didn't know what kind of meat it was. Like Taco Bell. What kind of meat is it, boy? I don't know. Tastes good though.
Even McDonald's out here, they have to follow the regulations. You know, Spain has some pretty strict regulations. Italy's actually even better with healthy food. They're really serious about their food. But you go in a supermarket here, and you don't get like 12 types of crap like you do in America. It's very, basic. Which
did you go in?
Did
you go into McDonald's?
Oh yeah, I tried it.
Okay, what do they call a quarter pounder over there, bro?
A quarter pounder.
They call it a quarter pounder because they got the metric system, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
I thought in Pulp Fiction they said "Le Big Mac." "Le Big Mac" is what they call it. That's not true.
Do they still have the McDo over there?
They have like McDoubles of everything, and like for whatever reason they don't have fillet of fish on the menu anymore. They recently took it off, but that's okay because I don't really eat that. I get my fish is like merluzzo robozza, which is like you can buy it in the store. It's like a nice white fish, hacky, what a hackfish, whatever it is. It's like the same stuff they use in McDonald's. It's good, but no, all the nice restaurants with the terraces and all that, they all have fresh stuff. It's back to the bakers and things, for your bread. So it's nice. I'm going to open up my shutter here.
Well, you do that.
It's still dark outside. 6 a.m. here on the shore of the Alboran Sea. I'm just outside of Malaga. I can see the lights of Malaga from where I'm at.
Well, I can see your brain is firing on all cylinders now that you have real nourishment coming into the system from the
yeah.
So listen, have you been paying attention? Have you been paying attention to what's going on, Mr. Rowe? And I'll even call on you as Dr. Rowe tonight as well, because there's some intense stuff going on in the world, and I think all of us on here, and especially you being here tonight, is a good reason for us to get together on this. Because when I'm looking at this landscape, go ahead.
I've looked on the map of the European nuke map, and right now Spain is not one of the countries that's slated to be nuked.
No, you know why? And I've mentioned this many times over the last decade on this show that no one ever talks about Spain, and there's a reason for that, because Spain is a really special place. But here, let's go back to this here. Now, I see something going on here. I see it. I see it happening now. And you're into technology. You've been into technology since day one. You used to be a what do they call that now? When you used to call in on payphones, what was that? What was that thing called that people used to do? They used to hack on payphones with these dials, with these
freaking.
I started as a phone.
Right.
Yeah. PH.
All right. So you've been around. Yeah. You've been around since freaking, as far as technology goes. Now listen, what I see here, I see a transition team lining up, a transition team to go into this new technocracy, into the new technocratic era. I see Peter Thiel. I see J.D. Vance, who's basically created by Peter Thiel. I see Elon Musk. And now, Mr. Rowe, I see cryptos are going berserker. So what I want to bring up first and foremost is this XRP in the last week has gone up $1, so it's $1.69 earlier today. I haven't checked it recently. But there's lawsuits that have been settled, and the Ripple ledger seems to be the fastest machine out there, and everybody wants it. Now, Mr. Rowe, please come in here and give us, because a lot of us don't really know much about how to get into cryptocurrencies. And I know you're not making any financial, you're not giving people financial advice, but please jump in and tell us a little bit about what's going on. And because there's people saying $5, $10 XRP. Then I hear another rumor that Elon Musk is going to use lumens on the Starlink network. So lumens are now going to be there. So XRP, XLR, X, Twitter is X. What's going on, Mr. Rowe? Is this one of those moments? Because I missed the moment. I missed the Bitcoin moment. A lot of listeners missed it. A lot of people in alternative media missed it. Because, I mean, even back then, people were saying, yeah, it's the mark of the beast or whatever. So, I mean, people just left it alone. I mean, you could put $100. Go ahead.
It's interesting because people used to say that the internet itself was the beast. And before then, it was credit cards. And I'm sure you can remember the time when people pointed out that you could find a 666 in a UPC code, and you still can in all UPC codes. The first, last, and centered numbers is a check number, and it's usually 666. So I think part of it is the powers that be, the people, whatever, that come up with all of this crap. They purposely do that because that's how they are, that they put the symbolism and all that into everything. But just because, let's say, Johnny makes something that has the name of the devil in it or whatever because he thought he was being clever and crass at the same time or whatever, doesn't mean it actually is. Sure, there may be symbolism and stuff, but it's also the energy that you put into it. That being said, cryptos, I see $1 million Bitcoin. Maybe not today, but when Bitcoin was, $1,000, I was telling people, and I believed that there would be a day that would be 100,000. Right now, Bitcoin's at $98,571.23.
Right. And you've been on this since Bitcoin, so you're no lightweight when it comes to talking about it. Now, listen, do me a favor, because there's a lot of people listening that want to be able to somehow get in on some of what's going on. So how does a person just basically get started to go, if they wanted to go buy something? Like, how do they get started?
Depending on where you are, like, for example, people outside of the United States, and actually in the United States too, but more outside, there's many exchanges that are available. Inside the United States, there's maybe 3 that are the big ones. That's Coinbase, Gemini, and Kraken. There are Bitcoin ATMs. In fact, I tried one. There's one down the street from where I am just for the fun of it. I bought some doggy coin. Now, people are saying, well, I missed the Bitcoin. I can't afford $100,000 for one Bitcoin.
Right.
You can do dollar cost averaging, so you can always buy like $10 worth or $100 worth, and it will go up. But what I would do, and this is personal, and if I'm looking right now at some of like Cardano is over $1. It's $1.08.
Now, when you were starting to tell people about Cardano a couple of years ago, so how much was it at the beginning when you first started noticing it? I mean, how much has it gone up since then?
I mean, it was over. I told people start buying it when it was about, I think it was about 10 cents or so.
Okay,
Now, doggy coin, Dogecoin, I call it Doggy Coin.
Yeah.
I was advising people to buy it when it was pennies, and I've been saying that your pennies with Doggy Coin are going to turn into nickels. Those nickels will turn into dimes. Those dimes will turn into quarters, and now those quarters are at about 46 cents. So they're almost 50-cent pieces. So 1 million Doggy Coins is almost worth $5,000. And I believe that Dogecoin, which is a meme, is going to be well over $1. And it's just one of the things that Elon Musk said was that the most likely outcome is also probably the most ironic. And Dogecoin started out as a joke. This joke meme coin is number 7 of all cryptocurrencies. Okay, they abandoned it. The developers abandoned Dogecoin at one point, but because it came back, and partially because of Elon Musk's tweeting a few years ago about it and being into it, it's regained its popularity, and they started redeveloping for it. Now
there was rumors that he was going to use that on X for people to do transactions, and so a lot of people were speculating on that also when he bought X. Go ahead.
Even if he didn't use it, there are places that it is a valid method of unit of account. It's interesting that he is part of what's called the Department of Government Efficiency, which has the same letters.
Right. So now that recently went up. There was one of the coins I think went up to $7. The Doji coins. It's like a meme coin, like you're talking about.
Yeah, in fact, there are several. I've seen coins, and I'm actually kind of can't wait till I get back settled to get my office set up, because there's coins that are launched that within a couple weeks, they're hitting. A little over $1 or so, and these are coins that come from nothing. Now you have to be.
Let's circle back. Circle back. So now there's Coinbase. There's, what did you say the other two were?
Gemini and Kraken.
Okay, Gemini and Kraken. Now I want to go sign up, right? So I go sign up. How do I fund these accounts now? Do I put money in there? Like what do I do? I could use my.
Personally, I don't like Coinbase. They're too intrusive for my, and they're just. I just don't like Coinbase. I've been with Coinbase since their inception. I actually applied for a job way back when you could just walk to Coinbase, and I did. I walked into the office in San Francisco, and they looked at me funny, and they never hired me, but oh well. And then eventually, for a stupid reason, they banned me. And actually, I'll tell you why. When you register with an exchange, and this is the same with Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase, there's an option to add your bank account and as an ACH transfer. So you can send money from your bank account. Well, most of them, like let's say Gemini, for example, if you send $100 or $1,000, they credit you instantly, and they're like, okay, it'll take a day or two for the ACH. And then you look in your account, and you're okay, it's there. I'll wait a day, and then after a day, it moves from your account into your crypto. Well, Coinbase basically is supposed to do that, but when one time, actually they've done this more than once, but they did that. I transferred money. They didn't take it out for like a month. So I think it was like $500. So a month goes by, and you can't get a hold of anybody, and there's no movement. Right. And then after, a couple of weeks, I use the money or something, and then, of course, what happens? They decide to try to ACH it out, and now there's not $500 in that account. So I get an overdraft.
Yeah.
And then they ding you, and now you're like, oh, you're too high of a risk.
Okay,
so that now, you have to watch out for. I've never had.
This is starting to come into view now because of something you just said. You called it an exchange. Now, this is a point where you're taking dollars and putting them in there, and then you're turning those dollars into cryptos. And now you have an account with one of these places that you're talking about. Now I can go and buy cryptos, whichever coin I desire, and then I can go to these ATMs that you're talking about, and
ATMs are separate. You can just go to, like, I think some of the ATMs in America require you to scan your license or something like that.
Yeah.
But there are ATMs like out here. They're in Spain. You can go up to the ATM and just scan your wallet address, and they're not asking for any ID or anything. You just stick the cash in, and like a reverse ATM, and then it sends whatever crypto to your wallet. And if your wallet's on your phone, then your crypto goes to your phone. So there's no ID verification or anything. The biggest stickler in America, and this doesn't just go for crypto. This goes for if you're going to try to do Forex. This is why Americans cannot get foreign bank accounts easy. This is why Americans cannot trade on the foreign exchange or the Forex, which is very scammy and dangerous. But, if you want to trade futures at extremely high ratios, you can't do it as an American. The reason why is because of the tax burden that the companies would have to do. So if I want to do business, like that's why Binance kind of teetered out, and they created an entirely different exchange for Americans called Binance.us, is because the international regulations didn't, for the KYC, know your customer verification, AML, anti-money laundering, all of these licensing and regulations are just such a headache that the foreign companies, foreign banks, foreign branches, whatever, exchanges say, F that. We just don't want to deal with it. And that's the biggest hurdle is the IRS, keeping Americans out of the global market, which sucks because if you want to trade crypto, you want to trade it on exchange where there's activity, where there's volatility, where there's volume. You don't want to go to, in America, like Coinbase and Gemini, they have the American activity and the American volume, but you're missing out on the rest of the world.
Okay, hold it.
So
hold up. Hold up a second. Chicago Brew is over here. He's trolling me in the chat. He said when Jimmy Jean's talking about crypto on the show, that it's time to sell. No, dude, I'm not talking about crypto. I'm talking about an opportunity at the beginning of the technocracy. I'm saying we are moving into the technocratic era, and the transition team is in place, Jack. And we're ready to move. And so Chicago Brew, I know you the brewmaster is quite knowledgeable in a lot of these areas. He's welcome to brew. Why don't you join us? Come on and join us with Ro. Now, Ro, you said something volume. Now the big thing about the Bitcoin was that there's only so many. And so because there's only so many, the value of the ones that exist goes up. And there can only be so many, so even though they have not all been mined, the value goes up. But what is the difference between that and these other coins? Do these other coins have some sort of a cap on how many there will be? Or these other coins, you said volume, it almost sounds like the stock market. It almost sounds like, they're just going to make as many coins as you want to buy or whatever.
Well, yeah, what I mean is the trading volume. Now, as far as quantity and total supply, yeah, you're right. Bitcoin has a total supply of 21 million Bitcoins. There will not be, the last one will be mined in the year 2140, and it'll be Satoshis. It'll be like 0.00 whatever it is, because it halves every so often. Every few years, the amount released drops in half. So, of course, there's millions of Bitcoins that are locked up and lost for whatever reason, unobtainable. So there's basically less than 21 million available. Other coins, like let's say Dogecoin, for example, may have trillions of coins that are available. But one of the things that they are doing for some of these coins that have so many is they do what's called burning. And so what they'll do is they will remove coins from the coin ecosystem so that the supply does drop. Now, it's okay that there's only 21 million Bitcoins because there's 8 decimal points out past 1. So it's 1.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers out, and the last one is a single Satoshi. So you could have, Bitcoin's worth $1 million a piece, and the smallest unit of account of a Bitcoin will still be under a penny. So there's scalability as far as cryptos, and of course, use cases. Bitcoin is much different as far as the mechanism than, let's say, Ethereum, the number 2 crypto, trading at about $3,400 right now.
And they were going to go with Ethereum as this transferable ledger situation like they have with Ripple. Like they weren't going to use Ethereum at first, and so they put a bunch of money into it, but the reality of the situation is the amount of time it takes for a transaction is like 0.007 seconds with Ripple. And so all these banks... Go ahead. I'm just saying... Go ahead.
Ethereum has smart contract abilities, which mean there's a lot of programmability and flexibility. Now, XRP has basically KYC built in. Things like Lightning Network for Bitcoin increase the trust and the transfer times. But yes, that is one of the biggest issues is, like, for example, when there's, I don't know how many per second, but there's millions of credit card transactions per second every day in the world.
Right.
And that is what we need to be possible with crypto. For example, Bitcoin, when I send you a Bitcoin or any amount, it has to be confirmed. Now, the standard is 6 confirmations or 6 blocks. Well, 1 block can take, at the best case, around 10 minutes, maybe a little less. But at the worst case, a block can take a day. So, but people with a credit card or doing an instant transaction don't want to stand somewhere for 10 frickin' minutes even. They want to instant transfer. They want to know the money moved and we're done, move on.
Right.
That's the big deal with Bitcoin. That's what's also started a lot of arguments and debates, and well, now let's come out with Bitcoin Cash, let's come out with this one, let's come out with, and then of course it spurned other things like Litecoin and the other coins to say, well, let's solve this problem and try it on these other blockchains. Now, things like Dogecoin and Ethereum are much faster. When I send you a Dogecoin, you get it in seconds, and that's basically what I would say development is looking at. There is no single one coin that's going to be optimal. But now there are so many, and there's so much development that's going on that we're getting closer to something viable to be for a global market.
So these countries that are coming online, is Brew, did you join us? Are you here? I can't tell.
No, he's not.
Okay, well, I called him anyways. So here's the thing. I don't want to get too weird because people, that's what happens with people. That's why they don't get into crypto, is because it starts getting real weird and technical for them, and they start freaking out about it, and then they go, I can't take it, because it's not that it's not complicated if you're just buying and selling, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Because I know a lot of people, and I'm one of them, think that when your shit is completely and totally electronic like that, right? That now one of the things about these things called stable coins, there's deals with the government that they've already made in order to have the stable coin, in order to get the status to have that stable coin from the government. They agreed to be able to freeze a person's funds ahead of time. So if someday the government decides they want to freeze your funds for whatever reason, these people have already said that they will, and you're invested in it. You don't have any control over it, and I'm one of those people. But here's the reason I'm talking about this shit tonight, is because in my estimation, it looks like right now there's potential for people to make money. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm saying it looks like the horizon. There's potential to make money. Now, for me, if I was going to make money this way, it wouldn't mean that I would keep all my money in that situation. It would mean that I would take money, invest it, make more money, and then take that money and buy tangible items that exist, like property or gold or whatever it is, some physical thing. Not just keep my money there, but just make money as it's going up, right? And that's what everyone is saying. Do you agree, Ro, that this XRP has the potentiality in the near-term future to go to $10? Because it seems like there's a lot of people calling for $10 on a lot of different of these XRP, XLR. There's a couple other ones. Good.
Let's just say this. Look what happened with Bitcoin in the last month. Let's be conservative here. And there's a saying, rising tides raise all ships. Before Bitcoin took off, XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin were also just sitting there. Now that Bitcoin is the exciting king top dog crypto moving around, everything else is waking up. So do I see XRP at $10 in the future? Absolutely. Yes, I do. Barring some crazy shit, that happens, and that's certainly a possibility. I do see it moving on up, and same with most of the more popular cryptos. We're at the very beginning of this, and there's now even AI related cryptos that are coming out, and I haven't looked into a lot of those quite yet, but
BlackRock,
I do see XRP.
So
$10.
BlackRock heavily invested in something called Hedra. What is that? Hedra. Is that another coin? There's another. I think it has a 3-letter symbol.
I don't know anything about Hedra. I do know that BlackRock and State Street, and which basically is the owner of BlackRock, they all own each other, but they are acquiring Bitcoin, and they are not selling Bitcoin. I can't really speak of some things, but I can just say that through my financial connections of folks, crypto is looked upon now very favorable by some of the financial institutions, and that there are plans from well-to-do clients to acquire. And that's not just people that have lots and lots of money and deep pockets, but countries, like El Salvador, and then of course even Trump's plan to have the United States acquire a certain amount of Bitcoin every month. So they're looking into the future.
And so the common thread. So this is what I'm trying to suss this out. Now we had the SWIFT system previously. Mm-hmm. And so now we're moving into a new digital currency era, and there'll have to be some sort of a transfer system and worldwide. There'll have to be some sort of. Hang on a second. Let me ask you this, because I see countries that, like for example, Saudi Arabia, they're doing a pilot program using Ripple. And so what I'm curious about, Dr. Ro, is if I have $1, can I make is my dollar really an XRP on Ripple? But to me, I call it $1. It's my American dollar. I spend it. It's $1. But really, behind the scenes, that dollar equals whatever XRP is on the Ripple system.
Well, that would be more like you're kind of describing a stable coin almost, like Tether and some of these stable coins. The company that puts it out, the group that's basically, because not all are the same, not all cryptos are the same. Like Bitcoin has no company. There's no Bitcoin corporation or anything that owns Bitcoin or is responsible for Bitcoin, no matter what you see. The Bitcoin Foundation, none of that has anything to do with ownership. It's truly decentralized. Ripple, yeah, for example, and or Tether are centralized. Basically, they're decentralized in some ways, but they're centralized as far as a governing structure. There is a group. There's people you can sue. There's people you can call. There's people that are responsible and in charge of and can halt. Like Ethereum, actually, a buddy of mine had a meeting with Vitalik Buterin not too long ago. I think we're supposed to meet up with him again, but that's all I can say. This is the development that I'm trying to work on with some folks. How close I'm to some of this crypto. But anyway, these coins, other than Bitcoin, can be halted. Like if somebody steals and hacks some Ethereum, you can actually stop that. And that's what happened with a big hack. That's why we have Ethereum Classic. That was the original chain. And then the other one broke away because they didn't want to have the hackers who hacked the original Ethereum to be able to profit. So they decided, we'll just, split the chain. And other hacks have occurred where they'll mark the address and blacklist. You can blacklist Bitcoin addresses, so you can track them and you can say, this occurred, but you can't really hold a certain person responsible as far as the coin itself. But these companies, like for Tether, have to have, like if there's a certain amount of Tether in circulation, they have to have a bank somewhere where they've got that money, supposedly one for one. And for a while there was some skepticism as to, do all these stable coins actually have a bank account with the money behind them backing them, or are they just making this out of thin air? Sam Bankman-Fried with his little tokens. Like there's nothing representing them. We just made them and say there was, and then use them as money and buy real crypto. That's a little bit shady there. Yeah. So keeping that all into perspective. But Ripple's gone through its audits. It's gone through its lawsuits. It's gone through its deal with the SEC and everybody else. And so I think it's actually kind of proving itself. If you can go through all of these stormy waters of crypto and come out on the other end and still be viable and still have a use case and everybody's still using you with good faith, then that's promising. All
right, so the working man's version of crypto, to make a little bit of chunk of change for himself, he takes $500 and he goes over to, picks one of these. What are the three? Coinbase.
Dogecoin.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
What are the wallets?
I would recommend Gemini. Personally.
All right,
but
now,
yeah,
is this
Gemini or Crack?
Is this like a trading platform? Like, could I go on there and take my whatever my crypto booty is, and can I go over there and buy shit with it? Like, can I take my crypto booty and go over to like say the Forex market, and
No, you can take your crypto booty and trade it for US dollars that you can send back to your bank. And let's say you wanted to do Forex. Well, you'd have to have an account on a Forex exchange because the crypto exchanges are only crypto exchanges.
Okay, so you can't do anything but buy or sell crypto on that wallet. It's not like a trading platform.
Actually, I think there is one or two Forex, foreign exchange, that do like currency trading that also have crypto. I know that there have been in the past, but most of them have not been able to get past the American regulations in the recent years. So they either faded out or they're trying, in America, they try to keep it separate. Like you can trade stocks here, you can trade your foreign exchange like US dollars for rubles or whatever, or pounds or yen here, and you can only do it on certain sort of leverages. Like you can't, like in Russia or Britain, like Guernsey and in Europe, you can go on foreign exchanges and trade at 500 leverage on margin. Now, if margin call hits, and you can get effed really easily, or you can make a lot of money. You can't do that in America. They don't allow that. So they separate all these things, they make all these rules, and so it makes it extremely difficult for Americans that are regular. I mean, if you're an American and you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars,
No problem.
Can you?
But if you're just go ahead.
Can you program your wallet? Can I say, I want to buy this crypto right now, and then, but if it goes to this amount, I want to sell it immediately? Or do you have to sit there? Do you have to sit there and watch your phone and wait? No.
You can do that on the exchanges, like you can do like a limit order or a stop limit order, just like you can if you're familiar with trading on stocks and things, and you're like, well, if it drops down to this amount, buy a certain amount, buy $100 worth, and if it goes up to this amount, then sell.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically a limit order, and you can do that on the exchanges.
Or if it goes down to a certain amount, sell. In other words, you have some limit that you're gonna. I'm just saying. Let's say some crypto that you bought goes up to $10, and you decide, that $10 is your number. When it hits 10, you're going out, cashing out. Okay, but at the same time, as it's going up, you don't want to lose that money. So, can you program it to like stop at a certain point to keep you from from bottoming out?
Yeah, that's basically, you're describing stop limit order.
All right, cool.
Most orders are done, most orders are like on Gemini. You put in whatever price, you'll see the orders, you'll see the asking and the last sold price. And so you can put in like, okay, I want to buy a Bitcoin at, $1. And you'll see, okay, the coin, it's 98 cents, it's 99 cents, it's 97 cents, and then it'll hit $1. Oh, okay, the certain amount of your order
and then
has been filled.
And then that sucks out of your booty that you put in there. So now you got $1,000, but boom, you say I want to buy it at $1. It comes to $1. Boom, you $1,000. Boom, now you got 1,000 of those. Right. So now it's over there at 1,000.
You've got whatever amount is in the equivalent of Bitcoin. So you're like, I want to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, and then boom, now you've got 0.00000 whatever amount of Bitcoin.
Now is there? And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You can also do market orders where you could just put in and say, whatever the price is of Bitcoin right now, I'll pay, and I want $1 worth. And maybe it'll drop to 97 cents, and then you get and it'll go to 98, but you'll still be paying until your order is completely full. So that's the difference. Market order just buys whatever the current price is at spot immediately. Mm-hmm. Limit order buys at whatever price you put in there, and it'll wait. And if it never hits that price that you want, if you want to buy at $1 and it's at 101 and it goes up to 10, you didn't get your order in. So that's the difference.
Wow, man. What time is it? So man, almost 47 minutes has gone by. I've learned a lot so far, and there's more to come because, like I say, I was talking with Amber earlier tonight about it, and I was all of a sudden coming into view about this transition team, and because there's when a new president's coming in, there's a transition team that helps them move into that office space and get everything going. And so you hear a lot about it, but I'm talking about a different transition team. I'm talking about the one that's going on over here behind the curtain, behind all the show ponies that are out there. Because there is a definite infrastructure that's been put into place, and we are definitely moving into the digital future. And things cost a lot more now. What I'm wondering is... I can't
Let me
imagine.
say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of, real quick before I forget, a lot of people are saying, crypto is now, Bitcoin's 100 grand, I'm missing out, blah, 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 blah. And look, what you just touched on is this infrastructure. There's a lot of people out there in the world that have no idea about anything about crypto. So look at all of these open masses as potential volume. There's going to be a lot of Tom, Dicks, and Harrys, and Joes, and Jonas that are out there that are going to be getting into crypto for the very first time in 2025.
Well, China...
I believe there's going to be a influx. Go ahead.
And let me pour some gasoline on that fire. because I just saw a thing yesterday or the day before where China has now made it legal to call Bitcoin an investment. So there's going to be a lot of people coming in from China too, and I mean this is all happening like at this nexus point. You know, where Trump's coming into office, the new administration, you know, this infrastructure, the Peter Thiel, you know, lurking in the background. You know, look at Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance. You know, here comes Elon Musk. He's over there in the Doji department with Vivek. Look at, you know, Ramaswamy's over there, man. He's calling snakes out of the bucket. You know, he's got that. What is that horn? What is that horn they play to get the snake to come out? What is that?
With the cobra?
Yeah. What is this? Epic Journeyman probably knows how to play one of those. Epic Journeyman, what is that? What is that flute they play to make the snake come out of the basket?
No, I don't recall. I used to know back in the day when I was a big snake guy, you know, but not anymore.
Vivek. Now,
Vivek knows. I'm sure he knows.
Listen, you guys.
He plays.
Hey, Epic and Rio, do you guys have any digital coin? Either of you two guys? No, because we all missed out on it. Like I said, you know, a lot of people in alternative media didn't trust it. You know, there was a major feeling of distrust back then about it. It was like, you know, so lots of people missed out. There's a few people that didn't, you know, that Cliff High dude, he's one of the guys that, you know, he was in the alternative media, but he went ahead and, you know, got into it. So, you know, and you know, I mean, Ro, you got into it, you didn't get into it at the very beginning, but you did get into it, right? I mean, you were there at some point and did, you know, enjoy a little bit of happiness for a bit, right?
I was trading Bitcoins on Mt. Gox at $2 a piece. I sold 500 Bitcoins at $50 each, and I thought I was a financial wizard.
Well, I mean, it's going on again. I mean, this is, and the other thing I was going to ask you, and this is what when you had to make that point, because I forgot, but this is what I was going to ask you. Why would they allow us to jump in on here and make a bunch of people make a shitload of money? Like, the thing is I mean, do they have, I mean, is this some downside to it, to bringing it in, that they have to allow a bunch of minions to make some money on the way up?
What do you mean?
I mean, us. Like, I'm saying, why would the system? In other words, if I'm the system and I'm going to institute a digital currency and a digital infrastructure, that I just put it in there, and I call it $1. I don't give you no opportunity to make any money on it, because we all know that these coins are going to go up. So there's a bunch of people that are going to get rich. There's a bunch of people that just got rich. When that, you know what I mean? There's people that are getting rich every single day doing this, and we're not giving you.
Millionaires now, yeah.
I mean, we're not giving you financial advice, but what I'm asking you is what number is this global currency going to stop at? In other words, they can't let one of these other coins be like Bitcoin and be $100,000. You know, it's not like you're going to buy it. Well, I don't know. Could they? I mean, could they let that happen? I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of people on the planet. And, you know, there's, as far as, you know, look at the cost of things and how inflation is just going crazy. There's got to be some sort of counter to that.
Yeah.
And in the future. And even with, you know, this crypto that's worth, some of it's worth as much as it is, like I said before, there's people that have no clue what it is. They have no idea on how to obtain it or what it's used for. Or some people never even heard of Bitcoin, as crazy as that sounds.
I know.
Still.
Well, there are supposedly 8 billion people, right?
That's what they tell us.
So I mean, if all of a sudden everybody's got to use a certain thing to make their, you know, to buy their bread or whatever, you know, you could be the person on that wave, right? You could be riding that wave right now.
Well, there's also a huge population of unbanked. You know, I've got some friends that have an office in Nigeria, and they're trying to tap in on the market down there in Africa, as far as, you know, they've moved some to cashless system, the government there, but crypto is very favorable amongst a lot of the masses down there that don't have bank accounts, don't have wallets, but they got a smartphone.
Don't worry,
And-
you know why? Because there's a guy in that village with an eyeball scanner, and he's coming over there, and he's got big wads of crypto in his hand because he's making money. All right, listen.
So this is a Nigerian Prince story?
Listen, we're going to be right back. We're here with Dr. Rowe, Epic Journeyman, Rocket Rio. Mine's Jimmy, it's in the microcosm, and be back with hour number 2, and we're going to tie a bunch of all this together too. But, you know, do what you will, man. There's a million videos out there right now about it, but could be potential to make some money.
Catch it before it hits the ground.
And I'm not giving you financial advice. And neither is anybody else.
Baby, I'm so scared. There's something wrong. I hid you in the corner of my empty room. Never really cared till now. Not standing in the corner for me anymore. You've done your time. Ask yourself, doesn't I pass mine? And when my time is through, can I still come home to you? Anytime, anytime you want me. Anytime, anytime you're lonely, you just have to call, 'cause I'm always there. Anytime, anytime you need me. Anytime, anytime you're dreaming, waking up all alone, your heart is screaming.
It's raining in the Santa Cruz Mountains. We're going to be right back.
Open your eyes, let it begin with me here. Brand new day, fresh new way to live. The morning is calling. Walk with me unto the sun. Everything is coming our way. Everything is coming our way. Everything is coming our way.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
If you're sick of the lies and ready to know thyself, to love thyself, well then tune in to the Loveolution with your hosts, Amy and John Paul, where we speak all about truth, love, and freedom every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on Revolution Radio. And remember, only you can free your mind control. Be a revolutionary.
Welcome to Coffee Rants with Dan. I am the spiritual anarchist, Dan Arnold, your host. Tune in for what's really happening every Thursday. That's Thursday at 9 a.m. in Studio A on Revolution Radio. They keep us in fear to manipulate us. They want us ignorant so we're easier to enslave. They make us murder one another so they don't have to do it themselves. Only you can break their mind control by healing the contradictions within your belief systems that allow you to accept their lies in the first place. The time has come for us to remember our divinity, who we really are, to return to what we are meant to be, a service to others, to return to nature, and to reclaim our birthright, that which is freedom. The truth will sound belligerent because it is in direct opposition to lies. So get angry, because anger is sacred, and together we can unite and rise. Rise from this darkness. Humanity, assemble.
Do you love topics about history, world events, popular conspiracies, and everything under the sun, while discussing their historical context? Then welcome your host, Trinity, where no topic is off the table, truth is spoken to power, and where your voice can be heard. Here is where you can communicate openly and learn from one another, while respecting our diverse society and figuring out the truth to where we're heading. Join Trinity in a 2-hour roller coaster ride of research, comedy, and interesting content. Made with you in mind, people that matter the most. On Mondays at 12 a.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. Central, only on Revolution Radio Studio B. Be a part of a different way to hear radio.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show.
Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got now.
All right, thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
It's Friday night. My name's Jimmy. Sitting in Microcosm hour number 2.
You better not cross it. You have been a distance and I need some rent. Yeah, and somebody wasn't down before I lost her. I've been running like a man possessed. I don't scare easy.
It's Revolution Radio. And we spent the first hour digging into some of what's going on with this upward swing in the digital currency arena. And we have one of our good friends of the show and someone who's been around crypto since crypto's been around, Dr. Rose here. We've been talking about it. And Epic Journeyman's here, Rock and Rio's here, you're here, and we appreciate it. Don't forget, Revolution Radio is fully listener supporters, so come on down, become a supporter. We're on freeworld.fm, and this is the Independent Broadcast Network. And Tom Petty, man, he's Mud Crutch.
Yeah, I got a dream it don't ever come true.
digital currency. Rock and Rio, Epic Journeyman, Mr. Rowe, the PayPal Mafia, Epic Journeyman. They appear to have landed up there in the Mar-a-Lago. And it looks like we're moving into the technocracy or the technocratic future, the metropolis type idea. Epic Journeyman, come on in here. Let's hear a little bit about, because listen, I'm not going to sit here and blast through a bunch of stuff about Palantir, because, I mean, Palantir in and of itself, and to have the access to what Palantir has access to, puts you in a very super powerful position in this new digital age that we're in. Epic Journeyman, does it not? So
it sure does. Yeah.
So let's get into it a little bit now. People, I don't think a lot of people even know what Palantir is or who Palantir is. Why don't you tell everybody what does Palantir actually do? And seriously, they're fully affiliated with the lettered agencies, obviously, because you'd want to contract a company like Palantir to be to marshal in your whatever it is you're trying to find out about. Tell everybody about Palantir, man.
Well, basically, Palantir is information. I guess you call it a harvester. I can't think of a better word than that. Because what it does is it takes all the information that's out there, and just like gathering crops, it takes them and it sifts through all the different kinds and gets it all ready to distribute, right, to its clients essentially. And its clients are basically intelligence agencies and security companies primarily. But it also gets used by businesses as well. So what it does is it curates essentially all this information. It takes all this information, all the surveillance information, and has it all basically, I won't say in one place, but it makes it from being a raw material to something more refined. And it's scary how much power it actually has.
How would you compare Palantir with LexisNexis?
I'm not that familiar with LexisNexis, actually. Why don't you go ahead and enlighten us a little bit on that one, because I haven't really looked into it.
And is Peter Thiel own LexisNexis?
Because when I was with, the defense industrial groups, they use LexisNexis a lot. And basically, they're risk solutions for government agencies and companies that are looking for things like data analytics, anything from compliance, customer acquisition, fraud detection, health, identity investigations. I mean, the law enforcement use it. You can, as a civilian, you can get a LexisNexis account, but it's limited. But if you're qualified, quote unquote, you can actually, LexisNexis would allow you to look up driver's license information, for example. A lot of private investigators use it. Law enforcement uses it. So I'm wondering if Palantir and LexisNexis are, how similar they are.
Well, it sounds to me like, because Palantir, I'm pretty sure Palantir was publicly announced years later. I remember the LexisNexis. I even remember Alex Jones talking about it on his show, saying stuff about it way back, probably, 10 years ago or so. And I think Palantir may be some sort of a later device that would utilize whatever that, in other words, they would just, Palantir would just go, hey, LexisNexis, let me have this or that, and let's cut a deal. So it's, it's more the controlling mechanism, or the central processing unit is Palantir now, maybe. I don't know. Or it took, for example, you used to have Gerald Celente, right? And he was a trends prognosticator. But then all of a sudden Google Trends happened. And it basically eliminated him. Like what I mean? So once we moved into this Palantir era, or the era of AI, past this LexisNexis, or whatever was learned in LexisNexis is then, or filtered in or brought in together as a working system. But yeah, LexisNexis.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was just to say, like, the thing is how old it is amazing, because when they were starting PayPal, all the Stanford guys that started PayPal originally, Thiel broke off into Palantir right away, it meant that they're all geeks, they're all on the, they really are. I mean, they were back then, I mean, very smart geeks, but the thing is, it's the seeing stones from Lord of the Rings. That's what the name means, and it was just software, but the software diversified into, it's broken into these classified and unclassified versions, where the unclassified version is used by businesses. All the people the typical people we think of as villainous today, like BlackRock and what use these, the seeing stones, right, at Palantir, and the intelligence agencies like the CIA and all the other three-letter agencies use the classified version. But it's more than just that, it's like once it branched into artificial intelligence and was snapped up by the government is that too. It's just tied into all these other. It's in everything. It's like oil. It's in your car for lubrication. It lubricates the software that runs the world. It's in everything, and because it has so many different versions. I mean, it's so expansive. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get rid of it. And I think that's kind of where the issue lies, because
you can't get rid of it.
If you can't know the classified part, right? Even if we know the other parts, how are you going to get access to the parts we don't know about? So you'd never be truly rid of it. And it's this kernel of AI. It's going to be,
well, I mean, and let's
the
just
longevity
say,
of it, right?
The guy that owns it is on your team. So is there anything you can't do or not know about somebody or something? You could just say, you know what, man, this guy, cut me off on the freeway. I got his license plate number here, and throw it in there, and all of a sudden you're over there busting his kneecaps with baseball. I'm just saying. I mean, you can literally have any information about anybody, literally by any. But
Palantir is a foundational software, I guess, so that it's actually incorporated and integrated into the operational systems of the client, whereas like LexisNexis appears to be the database. So it's probably you're probably right, Epic, where Palantir utilizes probably in the back end somewhere in the code, information that's gathered by these other places like LexisNexis, and then sort of incorporates it all into its automated AI software systems that are now embedded into whoever their client is.
Yeah, that was me that said that, not Epic. But Epic, do you agree?
Well, yeah. So the way it's diversifying too is going to this whole, very Philip K. Dickian world of using predictive policing for this Palantir Gotham thing, where it's actually trying to predict crimes with AI, like pre-crime. It's really doing that, right? I mean, I would say you can't make this up, but it's because this stuff was made up. It's like they took all these things that were in all these novels, whether it be the fantasy novels, the Lord of the Rings trilogy and beyond, or whether it be things like the Philip K. Dick novels, and decide, hey, that's a good idea. Let's make that real. And that's what these guys, these Stanford guys, they're all Stanford grads. Well, not all grads. Actually, Thiel's only one of the few that did graduate from that PhD program. Yeah. The other people like Elon Musk and the others that started, Sergey Brin started, Larry Page started Google. They retired early, so to speak. They graduated early to do their real work in the world, right?
Right, and so that's where we're there, though, because all those people are hanging here and looming in the background of this new administration coming in. Because believe me, coming in and everything that happened leading up to the point where he's coming in, man, believe me, that there was discussions being had, business deals being made about this, about listen, hey, you need a hump, well, because Elon Musk really gave him a lift over the hump with a lot of what was going on with his promotional efforts and his whole effort in the election process.
He got him elected completely. Yeah, so, I mean, that was not just a difference. That was like the primary tool behind it, I think.
Right, because everything that was utilized in the past to keep people from hearing any of these messages that were coming through was taken away. So there was a big filtering mechanism keeping people from hearing what he was saying. And now they opened up the floodgates and let it out. And they saw people showing up and they saw a different thing. But, we can see here, obviously, moving into the future, there is going to be a CDBC. There's going to be a Fed coin. And there's going to be. And these dudes are in there and they're set right now. It's going to be set up right now. And believe me, everybody knows about all this shit that's happening that we're just finding out about, like the lawsuit that got settled with XRP and the FCC, well, and then the SEC. So we see we're moving into this now. here's Elon Musk. Here's Palantir over there. What is? I mean, this is ready to roll out, Ro, and I think Rio.
Yeah, we're moving into the next era, and I think also, I mean, everybody's going to get an AI girlfriend. Elon Musk is going to make sure of that. So we're going into the age of automation. I was talking to somebody about automation, and people are saying, yeah, there's so many people going to lose their jobs. It's possible that we could have that dystopian sort of, I've been replaced by a robot, but it's also possible that, because of the boom and the boon that companies are going to get from automation, you could go up to, let's say, you have these longshoremen that are working on the docks that are saying, look, I am part of a union. I drive my truck. I move, 5 boxes in 5 hours. And then they're going to come along and say, we got a robot that can move 50 boxes in 1 hour. And they're going to say, well, we have unions. We're supposed to keep our jobs. But in the name of automation, and because of the profit that it's going to bring, there would actually be enough to, let's say, pay that union worker the rest of his normal salary, tell him he can go home, use his free time in whatever way he wants, still collect his pension, and basically he gains time. Nothing changes for him except he doesn't have to go to work in the morning, but he still gets paid.
Well, if they can cut that deal, that thing is still hanging. They didn't stop that strike. They just postponed it.
Yeah.
They just postponed it, and they're waiting until as soon as Trump goes in office, they're going on strike. So people, that. So
people can be retrained, but there's also other options, and like people that are saying, well, look, I'm too old to be retrained, and I have retirement in a couple of years. For those people, they can still get everything that they were originally going to get, and just basically be paid off and retire early with full benefits.
That's the only way that's going down, man. The only way that's going down is if they walk away with everything and they can just walk away. But even still, and when that happens, so there's lots of people, Epic Journeyman, you can attest to this. Now, I don't care, a computer to computer, but these guys, they do more than move boxes. These guys tie down these ships, and they stack these ships, but they load these ships in a specific way so they can sail across the ocean. And they tie down every single those containers. And they do some shit in there that it's going to be very, very hard for robots to do. Period. It's going to be very hard. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying there's going to have to be a transition period for sure.
There'll be redesigning of materials, like, for example, cars and mechanical things will not be intricate to they'll be modularized. So you can pull something in, and a box will just be pulled out by a robot, and a replacement box will just be plugged back in. Kind of like the way computers are getting, where you just pull out a card and put another card in. You don't service the card itself.
No, right.
You don't look at
just
the
lowest repairable module or whatever. Okay, so let's say that's the world. Let's say that's the world we're living in. Okay, I'll go with you there real quick. We're here. We're in this world that you're talking about. If I'm in that world, then I don't need ships and I don't need stuff coming here because I got 3D printers over here that's just printing shit up and cranking it out. So I don't even need those ships anymore, really. And, when you say manufacturing is coming back to America, I mean, think again, because 3D printing's coming to America. So even like in a 15-minute city idea, you could have a small building with 3D printers that's basically a factory cranking out whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you call out. I mean, we could be living in a really great future. The future's so bright you got to wear shades. And maybe that's the way it's going to be. Who knows? We're just...
to me.
Go ahead. We're
skyscraper greenhouses. You could build a skyscraper type of greenhouse in the desert and have great food, organic food being grown for local populations. Out here in Spain, they actually have a region in Almeria that can be seen from space. It's not skyscrapers, but there's greenhouses, so many of them. And they grow all the local food fresh, where you get food that's 3 hours old, and you can localize that and do that anywhere where there's good weather. And even in places where there's fair weather, with augmentation and artificial intelligence and automation, you can create a hydroponic system that would grow healthy food, and you wouldn't have to import it or spray it with.
Exactly. And look at you can go into all those old office buildings where people were on the phones going, buy, sell. Making calls, cold calling people, whatever they were doing in those high rises all day and behind those cubicles and all those screens. Well, that shit's dead, so we don't need that anymore. So why don't we you could turn those high rises into those exact same type of idea that you're talking about. And you could grow enough food to feed everybody in that city. Because a bunch of those skyscrapers could be empty. Go ahead.
There was an age where you had rooms full of ladies sitting at desks typing. And then
they had call centers, right? Yeah.
And had the word processors, and then computers came along, and now you got ChatGPT. But yeah, so it's a natural progression, and I think if humanity is smart, we can make it a wonderful world. We just have to look at it logically, and we have to be leery but not frightened of technology. But we do have to remember technology is there to serve us, and not the other way around.
Epic Journeyman, how's the PayPal Mafia going to serve us being part of the government? Is that the secret government now? We're clearing out the swamp and bringing in the new technology. We're pumping the swamp.
They're making this
we don't need the swamp
reality,
anymore.
This technocracy, to where it's going to be the people, because technocracy means the people at the top are the experts, air quotes experts, right? They control how society goes. The people underneath just live on their energy credits. That's the system. But the thing is, the people who get all this wealth, collect all this wealth, will be the new kings and lords of like ancient time. Will be techno-feudalism, to the point where we'll never ever be able to catch up with them. The people who have that position will stay in that position, as will the progeny, or maybe they may keep it forever. If life extension technology actually comes along, they just won't die, right? Let's always be kings. So what does it leave for us? Well, it means that our yoke in life, so to speak, if everything is good, everything will be free, essentially, because technology will make it so cheap to produce things with 3D printing, with robotic and AI assisted farming and agriculture and whatnot, so that the actual physical labor isn't done by us anymore. We don't have to live that metropolis life underground. But what are we going to do? How are we going to be contributing to the society at large? Well, they need data. Everything's going to be data, right? So you need to train the AI to keep the system going. Things need to constantly be moving, and the way that would happen, I believe, is we would opt in, like the social engineering experiments of the old times in the 60s and 50s and whenever, going back time immemorial. We will just opt into that. You want to go ahead and live a life on this particular commune out there in Nicaragua for a while, live in this lifestyle, and you're used as a test subject. That's what you'll be have a good standard of life, or maybe you won't have a good standard of life, but you'll be the experiment. Or maybe you want to live in an urban center or a 15-minute city, or maybe you want to go on a space station or on the way to Mars or whatever. But you'll opt in, and your agreement will be that your data will be collected. Like,
here's
that's
the thing.
Your pay scale.
Here's the thing. What I see coming now. The Vax Daddy was the on the forefront of unprecedented actions that took place and caused a lot of things to happen. And I think when we're moving into this digital age, I think the highest priority of our civilization will be the elimination of all these weird codes and passwords and all this shit. That's got to go. It has to just be a quick scan of the eyeball, and that's it. And so, I mean, I think the Vax Daddy might be the eyeball daddy and say, because I want to point this out to you here and now tonight here on the show is there has to be a way to figure, because with the plan that's being talked about this deportation idea, let me just say, it's impossible. Okay? Impossible. There's no way to do it except for one way. You have to know who everybody is. So if Vax Daddy comes in and says, listen, I want to do what I said, I need to do it, and if you're behind this and you want me to do this, I need you to go down and scan your eyeball at your local post office for the new ID system. And if you don't have a birth certificate and you're not here, now you're not in the system. And now that's an easy way to pick out anybody who's not in the system. And I'm just pointing it out because, let me just say, we are moments away from you scanning your eyeball. Epic Journeyman, where's the eyeball scanner guy? This is from, what's the name of the company?
It's from OpenAI.
OpenAI, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like the orb from Phantasm. That's what he's got in vision. This thing's going to be flying around, scanning people's eyeballs. Initially it's like set up at the airport, like checkpoints and things like that. But ideally, the idea is it's going to be this orb flying around, just scanning eyeballs everywhere. And using drone technology essentially.
Yeah.
And hooked up to AI, and so it's facial recognition, but it's the different levels of recognition and identification until it gets to your eyeball, right? Retina scans, and then it's got this
you need to have
compiled ID.
You need to have a blue
client.
check mark, Epic Journeyman. You need to be verified, my friend.
Yep, you need to be verified. So what happened is to get into that. We've talked about it before. It's like badge readers, but not even badge readers. Just how you have to be identified. You have tiers, being able to go to the mall, or if the mall even exists in the future, or get into that section of the city. 15-minute city is 14 minutes for you because you don't get to go to the special parts, right? Because you're not authorized.
Yeah.
Or you don't get to get in at all if you're not identified, if you're not verified. Mm-hmm. You're not on the ledger, right? So
they got to get that eyeball. Ro, they got to get the eyeball. Now, I've seen video, okay? I've seen video from Africa with a black woman with a basket on her head, literally balancing a basket on her head, going up to this eyeball scanner, scanning an eyeball and having water come out of a pipe into her plastic receptacle. She bought water with an eyeball scan in the middle of the desert somewhere in Africa. I thought that was pretty interesting that they were rolling this out there. Go ahead. Have you seen any eyeball scanning going on in Spain, Dr. Rowe?
No, I have not. No, there's only I forget how many, maybe 5,000 or whatever, those eyeball scanners. And you get paid for every eyeball you scan.
Exactly.
And, you can apply to be one of the places where so it's WorldCoin by Sam Altman.
Altman, yeah.
Altman, alternate man. But there's a little bit of pushback on that. That's a concept that is a beta or alpha test, I believe, to see what type of adoption it may bring, what kind of regional adoption. Like in Africa, the dynamics are a little bit more different than they are in, say, the UK or in America or whatever. So I don't think we're going to have a one global system. I believe that we're going to have, regional systems. Now, it kind of reminds me of a quote that Henry Kissinger, of all people, said. And he said, the New World Order will have different characteristics in different parts of the world. And whether it's New World Order or not, there are going to be different characteristics as to how resources are allocated, how people use units of account and verification systems. There's a lot of people that won't go for
it's going to be a
biometric.
It's going to be a worldwide eyeball database, Jack, and there is no question about that. No question.
The truth is, technology now, it doesn't need to scan your eyeball. They can literally point a scanner at your head.
Yeah,
and scan you. COVID detectors.
I know, but I'm just saying the simple, like just a regular barcode scanner. It has to be simple enough like that. Even though we know they have, I mean, there's sensors that can detect you from 100 feet away and tell if you've got any diseases on you, or you're carrying Marburg or whatever. They've already installed all that shit. So we could do a show about that sometime here in the near-term future and have you come back, because I think a big part of the industry out there that no one talks about, the unsexy part, is the sensor industry and the installing of sensors everywhere. Just so on Star Trek, where they scan shit, they go woo, 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 with the thing. Well, they got to be collecting. They got to be collecting data from somewhere. So in the beginning, it's going to start out with sensors. Go ahead.
There's an 801 something standard that is basically the same for medical devices. So that infrastructure is quietly it's already set up actually, where a lot of the medical devices that seem to have benign uses, like your pacemaker or some sort of remote monitoring for your heart or whatever it is, that notifies the doctor, and then he gets an email that says, oh, this person is having palpitations or whatever it is, and the system kind of automatically adjusts. Well, all of that infrastructure that allows that would allow other things as well, would allow the verification system, would allow the monitoring in normal people. Right now everything's being rolled out to for healthcare. Oh, for an elderly person, we need to put in this. I took care of a guy, and he had one of those systems where they had a modem that you plug in, and then his pacemaker is monitoring his heart, and if something happens, the signal is sent from the pacemaker to the modem, which calls the department, and blah 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 blah. That's all set up in place under the guise of healthcare. Well, flip a switch. It's not going to take very much to just roll that out to everybody. And a lot of these devices can be done without the person even knowing. All the smart devices in your house. I think we've talked about how people may not even be aware that there is a system that is set up where information can be sent from one place through traffic headlights of cars, through the flickering of LED systems in the public, can be used as an information highway to get information from one point to another. So there are stealth networks set up, there are smart systems set up, the whole infrastructure of smart devices in your house.
Wow.
Everything.
Well, you know
talk
what?
to each, it's all
And your car
set up. We have to do a show on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when you just said that, what immediately went through my mind is you're driving in some car that you're in, and you're in that car, and you're drinking or you're smoking weed or whatever you're doing, and in that car, it smells the weed or it smells the alcohol, and it sends information through your headlights over to that cop car over there. Because you know what?
Yeah, I mean,
seriously, because that's this unknown network that nobody knows about, running off these LED lights, man. And we've talked about this before. It's called Li-Fi, right? So what you're describing is something similar to Li-Fi, but even more sinister. That anywhere there's
and every modern stoplight intersection not only has little cameras, but they have radar. And they can see pedestrians, they can see cars and vehicles. There's these and they're just little local radar systems. But, all of these combine set up the grid. And, you can, if you open up that green or silver box on the intersection, just about any modern traffic light intersection, you open that up and you'll find thousands of dollars worth of equipment, that connect to the networks, the radar system, of course, the traffic control system. You can jack into that.
And what you're describing right here, which I didn't know about, what you're describing right here, reminds me of Google purchasing the fast track charge system in California. So you to get in a certain lane, in order to drive in that lane, you pay a fee, and you put a little tracking device in your car, and you drive under it. Now,
Yeah.
Epic Journeyman, is that a SCADA system that's utilized for these tracking, or is this a whole different wireless system? Now, is it SCADA that they use to do the tolls and all this and the fast tracking?
In a way, yeah, I guess so, because it's all networked and control.
No, then
so,
it ain't SCADA. Then you would know about it if it was. But
no, it's not like we use. No, but
okay, so
yeah, it's network control.
So see that? So all this stuff happens. It's invisible. You have this little device you put in your windshield. You drive across the Golden Gate Bridge every day. It costs you $20. How much does it cost? It's $20 right now, Mr. Rowe. $20 to go over across the bridge if you commute every day. So that's what
I don't think it's that.
I think it is. And but it doesn't come out of your pocket. It doesn't come out of your actual hide. It just comes out of the invisible air. Go ahead. You don't feel the
$25 for the bridges over here.
$25 every day.
Every day.
And both ways. That doesn't include back coming and going.
No, it's one way. It's going in. That you pay.
$50 a day. That's $250 a week. How much money are you making working in one of those cubicles in New York City, man, to drive in there?
Yeah, you make now it's all Easy Pass. There is no more toll collector on the thruway, and I think the tunnel and bridge authority still has live collectors, but not very many. They're phasing them out.
Man. It's awesome.
I remember when I was like 16, 17 years old, even a little bit later, there was on the Bay Bridge to get into San Francisco. It was like, I think $5 or whatever. But you could avoid the toll if you took the very, 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 very far right. You'd have to take the very final exit. You drive down the frontage road, and then there's a bus entrance. And if you go on the bus entrance, it totally went by all the tolls. And I figured that out one day, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" I remember that. I used to jump that toll.
Hey, listen to this.
I think the government is creating more than half of our economic value.
Tim Draper is one of Silicon Valley's most famous venture capitalists. He was an early investor in companies such as Skype, the Chinese search engine Baidu, and electric car builders Tesla. With an estimated capital of $1 billion, he is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to which startups are to be given a chance.
What kind of companies, as a venture capitalist, do you invest in?
I look for industries that are getting very fat and lazy and bureaucratic, and I'm looking for startups that are approaching those industries where people are not getting, customers are not getting the kind of service, and they're paying too high a price for the service. And so today, those industries are banking, education, medicine, and government. Okay? In finance, there are great technologies now. There's Bitcoin, there are smart contracts, there's an ecosystem being built around Bitcoin.
So Wall Street must be afraid of you.
I believe that Wall Street is fighting this tooth and nail, trying to make sure that Bitcoin doesn't happen, but it's too late. The genie's out of the bottle, things are going great, and people will use Bitcoin for many, many different things.
All right, so this is from a documentary called Cybertopia. I highly recommend it. It was done in 2015. So, that's 2015, right? And these people now who's coming in here? What do they want to do? They want to cut waste. Why? Because you can use these AI systems to go in and find out exactly where you're leaking money. It's like you're bleeding money somewhere. And if I'm the guy that can show you where you're bleeding money, what happens? I'm saving you money. Then what? Well, because I'm saving you all that money, what happens to me? Well, you're going to pay me some money, right?
When West Coast companies go to New York or Washington or to Europe, they promote themselves as representatives of an entirely new way of being. And if you want to regulate them, well, you're just part of that old world. Why don't you get with the program? We are the future. We can see the future. The world's already put together. We can see how it's put together, and you can't. You're still promoting that 19th century weird bureaucratic governance thing. We're from the future. We're from California.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break.
See, that's the, I would say that would be the pervasive and prevailing attitude in Silicon Valley. It's into the microcosm.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
That line he said, we're from California. I used that line when I went into the cannabis club here. And I'm like, oh, California weed. Well, I'll be the judge of that. I'm from California.
What did they say?
They laughed and said, okay. Yeah. You got social clubs out here. They're kind of like secret coffee shops. It's kind of neat.
Well, listen, it's Revolution Radio, fully listener-supported. Come on down, become supporters. There's exciting things going on in the background as soon as Roe gets his command center set up. There's video. There are all kinds of stuff. There's Twitter. But come on down and become supporters, because without your support, obviously, none of that can move forward. And we really want to move forward and stay in tune with the where we are today in our lives. Listen, a lot of what we're talking about. Maybe you've heard about it before, maybe you haven't. There's just a lot to what's going on in the world. And I think at this moment, there's a potential. It is a moment. There's maybe some way that the working people around can make a little bit of money. And, who knows? We'll see. But the Silicon Valley seems to think they got this wired. Now, at this point, realistically, a lot of these functionalities of the government, a lot of these people sitting in cubicles, they're really going to become totally unnecessary in the future, realistically speaking. And I mean, if you're going to go in and cut waste, I really think that's going to be one of the places you're going to want to do it. And get rid of those people, because you don't need them anymore, because really AI can basically do everything that all of these people do. And realistically, these are people that are sitting there for 10, 20, 30 years and retiring. And they're the ones, that is the deep state. And if you're going to clean the swamp and get rid of the deep state, the way to do it would be to replace all of these long-term, politically motivated workers, in these government buildings, sitting in cubicles, doing work. Eliminate these pricks and get rid of it, because you don't need them anymore. They don't produce a single thing. They don't make anything. There's not a table. I can't sit in a chair that any of these people have made. They produce absolutely nothing. Nothing personal. If you're working for the government, let's get rid of the government. That's what I'm saying. No masters, no slaves. We don't need a government. If it's a matter of deducting a certain amount of money out of whatever it is that comes into you, what do you need? Because if you're in a centralized electronic system, every single thing you do is there, right? What you don't need to file taxes. They're already filed because you're doing it. It's filed as you do it. You see what I'm saying? It all becomes invisible. And I mean, people are going to resist it, right? So, but it doesn't matter if you resist it, because then you'll just be the outsiders. You'll be the ones that are the dirty-faced people living under the overpass in the freedom zone or whatever. Eating, whatever you're eating out there. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. Take a listen to this.
Your personal information is gathered and stored everywhere, all the time. Every single thing you do with your cell phone and your computer is registered and analyzed by companies like Google, Facebook, Apple and Twitter, to name but a few.
Okay, so that's where we already are. So it's invisible. You don't see it. You don't know about it. It's just constantly going on. It never stops. It's like they say in that movie, The Terminator, right? It never stops,
All these personal data forms the heart of something called big data. A treasure trove of valuable new insights deduced from your location settings, emails, photographs, text and everything else you do digitally.
Who owns big data? Peter Thiel does. Palantir is the cowboy riding herd on that, flock or whatever. Epic Journeyman, you know what I mean?
This makes all your personal information very valuable. Companies pay good money to find out everything about you, and they use it for a lot more than just targeted advertising.
Right. They can literally specifically point at you and make you think something. Make you believe it's true. Because everything you see and everything you hear will back up whatever it is, because it's specifically designed and tailored specifically to you so you can have your best experience on the internet. Right? Yeah, well...
That's the idea. Yeah, sorry, I was typing. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Everything's personally tailored, and as a byproduct of that, it's tailored to direct you into a certain kind of behavior and then monitor your responses. And that's the data that's being gathered, right? Is how well the real predictive program works, right? Do you respond the way that they anticipate? Does the sentient world simulation work the way that they thought it would? Does it have a good enough profile of you? Is that avatar accurate? Or does it need more data? It always needs more data, right? So I think that's the world we're moving into. It will be our data. We will opt in. We'll get paid for the things that we do to innovate and move the artificial intelligence in the database, right? So the things we actually create, because right now artificial intelligence can't create necessarily. It creates pictures and art and things like that, but actually new things. So far, it combines.
No, it just plagiarizes from a billion places all at once.
Exactly. Where original thought is going to be the Bitcoin of the future, the human Bitcoin, the brain coin. So that's what's being sought after, I think.
Well, listen, I mean, what we're getting into here partly is because these people that govern over the top of this technology, Mr. Rowe and Rock and Rio. I haven't heard from you much, Rock and Rio, tonight. Are you still there?
I am here.
Right on. I mean, what do you think about this, man? Because listen, man, everything we've pointed at as far as social engineering over the last, decade or whatever on the show, all leads to something. And what we were driving at was the controllability of the human form on the planet by these methods of manipulation. And the methods have changed along with technology. And now as we move further and further into the future, it's starting to become real clear to me, man, that the top of the pyramid is going to be the AI. Because everything's going to be basically narrowed down to that, right? I mean, at some point, aren't we just not going to are we just going to decide, Rio, that we can't trust anyone? So only thing we can trust is the AI. We can all put our trust in that, right? That's where we're heading, isn't it?
Well, that's I think what they want us to believe. But anybody who's actually really paid attention to AI knows it's incredibly untrustable at this point. And maybe it will be in the future a little more trustable. But I mean, how easy would it be for a coder to hack in? Right, and change things. Now I know they're saying, the AI is doing things that even the most advanced people can't understand, but there's always going to be a way in, even if it's through using another AI to hack it. Well, so how can you trust a system like that?
Well, you're going to have to trust something.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to. But,
right. So you got to trust something. So at the point that you get to where you say,
well, I mean,
hey, I can't trust you
now. Like our credit cards are somewhat secure, right? But there's still people who get identity theft constantly. So, most of us have faith that we're not going to have that happen, but it does happen, and it happens to a lot of people. So, why would AI be any different than something like that?
Well, a lot of it too is that if there's an error going in, then the logic is flawed forever after.
Right.
So if there's something sitting over the top of everything, scanning the world constantly, You know what I mean? Looking for something. I mean, that's how perimeter intrusion detection works. So if you have a perimeter intrusion system set up to find out if people are sneaking onto your land, what it does is it goes around and takes 360-degree pictures constantly. It's taking 360-degree pictures, and if anything in that 360-degree picture changes, it immediately knows it. And now it scans all there and puts the cameras right on that particular point. It GPSs it. You know what I mean? It scans the eyeball. It sees it's the guy. It lets him in. It's not the guy. The drone comes down, sprays pepper spray in his face. You get a cell phone call. You ride out there with your shotgun. That's the ranch of the future.
Well, I mean, there's always upsides to what they're offering us, right? There's always a positive value to it. I mean, we talk about Neuralink, right? If Elon can actually heal people's deafness and blindness with the thing, well, that's great. But there's a dark side to it too that could be abused. And I think any one of these systems,
there's no way that
positive ideas can be great for most people. But there's always going to be a backdoor, and there's always going to be a manipulation that's involved.
Well, listen, man, there's no way anybody's ever going to get an implant. Implants are out. There's already personal area networks, Mr. Rowe and Epic Journeyman. Jump in here because everything's already.
Well, smart dust and nanotechnology, right?
I mean,
that's the thing. It's going to be everywhere. It doesn't matter if you sign up for it or not.
It's all invisible. It's invisible. Yeah. That's the thing. It's all happening.
There's
in the
nodes
background.
all over the place.
That's what I mean. When you in the future, when you just walk in the room and you walk over and you scan your eyeball, then everything you do after that point, wherever you are, is going to go off of your credits. You know what I mean? You want a drink? Yeah, you just get one. It's no big deal. You get one. Boop. Your eyeball just got scanned. They just took $18 off your credit card for that Red Bull or whatever. You know what I mean? You go over there, you get a snack. You don't pay for anything. Boop. That's the future. You don't even get in the door unless you got enough credits on your credit system. In other words, hey man, if you don't got $20 for a beer, you ain't coming in here. You walk up, boop. Well, no, you can't come in. There's no doorman there. There's no doorman. There's an eyeball scanner. Boop. No, you don't have any money in your bank account. You can't come in here. We only want people with money in here. Go ahead.
Hey, to go beyond that, I mean, remember the patent number 060606 with scanning and having all of your credits and crypto within your body that that they wanted during the COVID injection. Remember that patent that came out and Bill Gates was part of it, and they wanted to have a cryptocurrency payment system that not only could credit you within your body and take away, but they could basically, inside the patent, there was allegedly that they could shock you awake, that they could control certain aspects that would allow them to stimulate you into working, so that they would know whether your body was in motion and you were doing physical work or you were thinking or whatever. And let's say you weren't. Let's say you decide to sleep in one day and not go and do your work. They could remotely make the system make you wake up. Like, they didn't actually come out and say it, but can you imagine if there was a system in place that if you didn't do what the government said, you would maybe they would say, okay, your punishment for today is a headache for 8 hours. You're going to have a migraine headache because you took the day off.
That's right.
Or or you'll feel very fatigued or irritable, like maybe similar to a simulated withdrawal symptoms from fentanyl or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just come into work, and when the scanner scans that your body is past the threshold, all of that'll go away. You'll feel better again, and you'll be able to do your job. That's the scary part. What can they implement into that?
Well, at the point that you're leaning into it, then at that point, whatever. I mean, once you go in, you can't come out. There's no way out of here.
Hotel California.
No, seriously, yep. That's the way it's going to be, isn't it, Epic Journeyman? Because
once you're part of the system, you aren't getting out of the system. I mean, you'd have to live underwater or something.
Yeah.
Literally, that's like the only way to get away from it.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't, and that might not be an option in the future. Right now, it is an option. You could live underwater, literally. You'd be free of all the RF and all the nanotechnology and all that stuff. But can you actually do that? I mean, consistently without a nuclear submarine or something? I mean, how are you going to do it? Stuff to come up.
No, well, I mean, Ro, you, along with us, but you were first, and because you did, I did, was when ChatGPT first came out, like the day or a couple days after it was released or wherever, you were on it already, and so I jumped on it too, and but you were one of the first people to adopt the ChatGPT and start looking at it and start making artwork with it. Rio did the same thing. We've seen this thing progress up to this point, but I mean, this just seems like the slow release of something that already exists. They want me to believe that there's no such thing as AGI at this point. So, I mean, I'm just saying, if there was a such thing as AI, 5 years after that, you're telling me that it couldn't figure out for you how to create the AGI and tell you exactly how to do it? Like, I could probably go in there, and ask ChatGPT right now how to create AGI, and it would probably tell me, wouldn't it?
Might even code it for you.
It might even code it for me. Exactly. Go ahead.
I think that they put up a lot of what they call guardrails. Obviously, and yeah, I think that AGI does exist behind closed doors, not just at places like ChatGPT, but in behind the doors of the Chinese and the Russian governments, who have admitted that they're using AI for different purposes. They have more of a military and governmental focus, whereas American AI has more of a public-facing view. At least that's what they want us to believe. But even Sam Altman came out and said, "Yeah, we're going to have AGI within 6 months," and that's a public statement. So
and that was 2 years ago.
I think that they've got it, they've had it, and it's just what they release to us is usually several years behind what's behind state of the art. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the interior of NVIDIA, but if you go into where they in NVIDIA, I mean, they have got some badass stuff in there. I mean, full-on holographic 3D display systems, robots. A lot of their stuff is highly classified, and so yeah, they're already rolling out, or at least publicly showing us. We've got this type of technology with robots. Elon Musk is getting his robots ready. The Chinese are showcasing some of their latest technology. So 2025 is going to be interesting.
Hey, we hit the break. Damn, that went quick.
Listening to Revolution Radio.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mystery, real natural law? Do you enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's High Thinking. Welcome to the Crypt.
It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The Story Behind the Story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
Do you love topics about history, world events, popular conspiracies, and everything under the sun, while discussing their historical context? Then welcome your host Trinity, where no topic is off the table, truth is spoken to power, and where your voice can be heard. Here is where you can communicate openly and learn from one another, while respecting our diverse society and figuring out the truth to where we're heading. Join Trinity in a 2-hour roller coaster ride of research, comedy, and interesting content, made with you in mind, people that matter the most. On Mondays at 12 a.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. Central, only on Revolution Radio Studio B. Be a part of a different way to hear radio.
If you're sick of the lies and ready to know thyself, to love thyself, well then tune in to the Loveolution with your hosts, Amy and John Paul, where we speak all about truth, love, and freedom every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on Revolution Radio. And remember, only you can free your mind control. Be a Loveolutionary.
Interrupt your normally scheduled programming to bring you this important broadcasting announcement.
Now is the time to explore your greatest potential, embracing truth, health, and wellness while discarding the system and exposing its corruption. Experience true freedom every Saturday night between 6 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live from Studio B. It's the Jonathan Wright Show.
Find it right here at revolution.radio.
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a civil majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look! It's just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, and stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live, Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
It's Friday night. Hour number 3. My name's Jimmy. It's Revolution Radio. It's into the microcosm. How could they know what I've been thinking?
Inside my head because they know. Because they know what I've been hiding. They're right under my bed, they're on patrol.
They know what you've been thinking. They know what you've been hiding. They're right under your bed. They're in control.
Because they know I shut this down. They've been watching all my windows.
We've been joined by a dangerous man from Spain. A dangerous man from Spain. Dr. Rowe. And also Epic Journeyman, of course, is here. And Rock and Rio was here. And you're here. And we appreciate it. Revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. Not there anymore. Revolution.radio is where you want to go. Become a supporter of that free speech, 48 hours a day, Studio A, Studio B. Shows until there's shows when there isn't shows. There's so many shows, there's no way you're not going to find something that you enjoy. And believe me, there's plenty. Dr. Rose, one of those good and plenties over there at Revolution.radio. Come down, become supporters, patrons. You know, throw a bone in there. Throw $10 if you can. Who knows? You know? And then, you know, obviously if you give somebody some crypto, like you give it to them today, tomorrow, it might be worth more money. It's like, you know, giving somebody, you know, they used to give you like a silver dollar when you were a kid under your pillow, the ferry. You know, they gave you a silver dollar. Well, hey, man, that's
lottery ticket.
Yeah, that silver dollar is $20 now. Epic Journeyman. But listen, they do know everything about us, and there's no question about that. So don't even like try to think that somehow you're over there hiding your information. You know, you got a flip phone or whatever. I got a flip phone. I don't have a smartphone. I don't have any accounts. You know, I didn't sign up for anything. I don't have free apps. There's nobody spying on me, right? That's what people think, right?
Your free apps. Yeah, I know, it made me laugh there.
That's what
They're not free, man.
I know. That's what people think, though. They think that, though.
Yeah.
Don't they?
I know.
They think that they're like,
funny, but yeah.
They think, whoa, you know, who cares about my information, man? I'm just some working guy going back and forth to work. But you know, what time you go to work, where you buy your coffee, you know, you follow the same path every day, just like a rat. You know, rats follow the same path. You know, when that rat dies, the next rat comes along and smells the piss from the other rat, and then that rat begins the same trail that the other rat had. And we just drive in our little vehicles, our little bubbles, you know, go from here to there and come back and just come back home. We do the same shit every single day. I mean, I think when Rock and Rio, when wasn't it that a person only does 7 things? Like, for example, there's so many different ways that you can use Word as an example, but people only know like 7 commands, and there's like something like 300 different commands. But I mean, people just go through the simplest, you know, way forward, don't they? In the most part, they need to keep it simple. You know, it's the more simple it is, and reduced down to the lowest common denominator, isn't it? I mean, aren't we like all? Isn't what they remember? You guys, do you remember this? Do you remember Agenda 21? And you remember this concept called harmonization? It seems like we're being harmonized, man, into this digital PayPal mafia is now signed a treaty with the Mar-a-Lago gang. And now we're moving into this future. And what do you think about that?
That's absolutely what's going on. Yeah, I mean that's Elon's there for a reason, man. I mean that's, you know, Thiel kind of has this guy in there, right? He's got JD in there, you know. So that's who they are, and that's what they're up to. That's
let's not forget that JD Vance, Thiel's boy, is the next in line for the presidency. And that, you know, the president is a certain age, you know. I mean, even irrespective of all the dangerous, you know, things that go on, you know, we're getting from point A to point B with him. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why J.D. Vance getting in there as the vice presidential candidate. It seems almost like the PayPal mafia cut a deal and said, look, man, I'll put you in the driver's seat as far as crypto and technology, But you got to have my boy in there, JD Vance. You put him in, boom, dude. You will be just like he said. What did he say? First he said he didn't like crypto. Now he said America is going to be the Bitcoin capital of the world or some shit. I don't remember the quote. I'm loosely remembering.
I don't know if you said Bitcoin or crypto. I think it said cryptocurrency capital or something to that effect. Yeah. Well, the ledger. I mean, it's all about the ledger, right? You got to have a ledger-based currency and a ledger-based government for it all to work.
And a ledger-based social program like they have in China, where you cross the street and threw a piece of litter, you put your cigarette butt out, and you jaywalked or whatever. Now your social credit score has gone down, Epic Journeyman. That's on the ledger
even like
too.
Estonia.
That's
Estonia
on your
is all
ledger.
ledger-based.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what I mean. Your whole life is now going to be ledger-based. Period. You're ledgerized. Everything's recorded. They used to have dudes sitting around with feathers, dipping that shit in ink. Okay, writing your name down in a book. All right. Now they just scan your eyeball and you're out, Jack. You walked in, got a six pack, and whoosh, some chew.
That's going to go on a record. Exactly. My mom used to tell me stuff like, "That's going to go on your permanent record if you get in trouble."
Exactly. See?
Right.
You guys are starting to smell what old Jimmy's cooking. This is like, and I mean, this is just coming into the fore because of our conversation. I've never considered this ledger idea, because then I start reducing it down, and I go, well, from the ledger, I can see that my life, or my whole life, can pass in front of me on a screen before I pass, because it's all been recorded. And it goes into the clouds, and into this invisible thing that knows all. And
they'll say like, Epic, you cut down on the beer in November, but you pick right back up in December. So we're gonna go ahead and monitor your consumption there and kind of prod you along to hit the gym whenever you feel that compulsion. Yeah, you really shouldn't be out there. The next time you go scan, we're just not going to give you that IPA.
Oh man.
Right?
And that's what Bitcoin was, right? The introduction to the blockchain. And then from the blockchain ledger technology, now we have all these other cryptos that may be similar or different from Bitcoin. But the one thing that they all seem to have in common, right, is the blockchain.
Yeah. Chains. You got to break the chains, man. But now, no. You know what? And the thing is, now, let me ask you this question now. How much energy is spent, Dr. Rowe, Epic Journeyman, Rock and Rio, in mining Bitcoin? I mean, wasn't it to the extent that they did a crackdown in Kazakhstan?
So much that the Russian government has banned Bitcoin mining in Siberia for, I believe, until 2025 or possibly even 2030. And it's banned in the Caucasus, like in Chechnya and some other places. You cannot mine Bitcoin in Russia. And they're saying it is because of the energy consumption.
China too, right? Yeah, because all those coal-fired plants, the owners, using the even though they're hooked up to the government, they're part of the government essentially, that they still have some form of financial capitalism, such as it is, and the owners were using their plants to mine for Bitcoin, right? For cryptocurrency. So.
The Chinese government, they shut down several of these quote-unquote unauthorized Bitcoin mines in China. China shut them down. But
let's get some gutter chicken. Let's go get some gutter chicken tacos, bro.
No, I'm never going to China. Never.
I had some gutter chicken today at Panda Express, man.
You had some gutter
chicken? That's not chicken anymore. It's something else.
It's gutter chicken, dude.
Pressed. Yeah.
It's gutter chicken.
Pressed into something that looks like chicken.
Have you seen the size of the rats, size of cats in New York City?
I have. Got them in Big Island, too.
Hold on. We're getting a call.
Palace, guaranteed hot in 30 minutes or it's free. This is Mary. May I take your order?
Hi, Mary. Yes, I'd like to order.
Is this Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you for calling again, sir. I show your national identification number as 610-204-9998-45-54610. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I see you live at 736 Montrose Court, but you're calling from your cell phone. Are you at home?
I'm just leaving work, but I'm...
Oh, we can deliver to Bob's Auto Supply. That's at 175 Lincoln Avenue, yes?
No, I'm on my way home. How do you know all this stuff?
We just got wired into the system, sir.
Oh, well, I'd like to order a couple of your double meat special pizzas.
Sure thing. There'll be a new $20 charge for those, sir.
What do you mean?
Sir, the system shows me that your medical records indicate that you have high blood pressure and extremely high cholesterol. Luckily, we have a new agreement with your national health care provider that allows us to sell you double meat pies as long as you agree to waive all future claims of liability.
What?
Do you agree, sir? You can sign the form when we deliver, but there is a charge for processing. The total is $67 even.
$67?
Well, that includes the delivery surcharge of $15 to cover the added risk to our driver of traveling through an orange zone.
I live in an orange zone?
Now you do. Looks like there was another robbery on Montrose yesterday. You could save $48 if you ordered our special Sprout Submarine combo and picked it up yourself. Comes with tofu sticks. Those are very tasty, sir. Good value, too.
But I want double meat.
Well, I'm sure you can afford the $67 then. You just bought those tickets to Hawaii. They weren't cheap, eh? Oh, but I see you checked out the budget beach bum at the library last week. Up to you, sir.
All right. I'll get the Sprout subs.
Good choice, sir. Gotta watch that waist if you're hitting the beach, eh? 42 inches. Wow. Man, I'd say tofu and sprouts is like required.
That's how much?
Just between you and me, there's a $3 off coupon in this month's Total Men's Fitness magazine. Your wife Betty subscribes to that, right? Anyhow.
Overtime every day of the week, still the house ain't big enough. Spend your money so fast that you never see the green. Big, better, best, tell me where does it end? Keeping up with the Joneses is tough. Better open your eyes, boy. She just wanna buy. Better wake up, boy. I'll tell you why. She got a mean streak.
718-618-9905 is the number to call. Give us a call, 718-618-9905.
What's your laugh in your face, but you're kissing her feet. You're never good enough in the eyes of a woman with a mean streak. Every time that I look at you, boy, I can see you're a nervous wreck. You try too hard to give her every little thing.
Now, I just played that clip, and that is the greatest hits in the alternative media because that bitch came out 18 years ago, and it was called Ordering a Pizza in the Future. That came out 18 years ago.
And now a pizza actually does cost that much for like a large.
That's what I'm saying, man. It was predicting the future too, wasn't it? It's like, oh, hey, Bob. Oh, yeah, it looks like you got a 42-inch waist. You better cut back on those meat pizzas. You know, you better eat some tofu sticks.
Wow.
It's all too much. It's Epic Journeyman. It knows how much you weigh. You know, listen, we were talking about sensors earlier. In the future, when you go buy a new toilet down at the Home Depot, inside the toilet, there's going to be some sensor in there. It's going to sense your waist and check your health. It'll check yourself before you wreck yourself. So in other words, you know, would you feel bad to have a some sort of a sensing system there in your toilet? If in fact this sensing system would then give you an early alert or an early warning to some detrimental health thing, would you say no to it? Would you say no to having your poop analyzed by your toilet and sending a
this
signal?
could be tied to your insurance, right? It will. It would be like, we'll give you some money off your health insurance if you go ahead and have this. Just like the driver, the cars and the progressive cars, right? Monitor your driving.
Exactly.
They give you a discount rate. So I suspect that's happening. They do have the sewage treatment plant monitoring of communities to see what kind of diseases are showing up in the raw sewage, right? And so it's not that big of a step to go from there to a personal version that's going to be in there that monitors every time you flush what's in there. You know, it detects for diseases, you know, high levels of chemicals. You're hungover, you know, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
You can't drive. You can't drive. Look at that, man. You still have an alcohol level of 0.2. You know,
Wow.
the other end. So I'm telling you that's quite likely to
It's likely.
manifest
It's
itself.
definite.
Yeah.
It's coming, man. Believe me, it's coming. And the reason being, I'm just saying, because it can be sold to people. Because don't you want to know? It's like this. It's like, listen, Bill, you should really take this test. Don't you want to know, Bill? Wouldn't you want to know if you were gonna get sick? Wouldn't you want to know ahead of time? Let us treat it now. Let's nip it in the bud.
Detect all kinds of things: early prostate cancer, you know, early colon cancer.
See,
all those things are the big killers, right? But then also, it detects like if you have an infection, urine infection, or it's not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean, the bladder infection, or if you come down with some kind of STD,
or you're showing
that's-
signs of Michelle Pfeiffer. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, you're the Michelle Pfeiffer.
diabetes to detect diabetes, right?
There you go.
Sugar
See?
level.
Why would
Yeah,
you say
well,
no to it? You'd only say no to it if you're some crazy conspiracy theorist. You know, because
right. What are you? Some kind of conspiracy theorist?
you
Exactly.
must be, because you'd only say no to it. Why would you say no to having a positive ID? You're not against drug driving, are you, Rock and Rio? I mean, why would you say no to it? I'm just saying. I mean, just like if you were just like a regular person in a civilization, you know, why would you say what would be wrong with it? It must be weird, something wrong with you. You know, everybody else is going for it. Look, all the people on Diddy's party list, they're all on it. You know, they're doing it. I mean, why aren't you doing it? Look at everybody over there, Rahm Emanuel's agency. Look at all those big stars. Look at they're doing it. Why aren't you doing it? You know, what's wrong with you? It must be something wrong with you. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Here's another dude from it. He's Dead Jim List. Here's Jet Boy. 718-618-9905. Feeling the earth shake. Another oarfish washed up down in San Diego. Epic Journeyman. Down in Coronado. Apparently.
A lot of those lately. Yeah, it's a
there's
trip.
3. 3 have washed up this year. It's the 3rd one.
Get a lot of underwater footage on them lately too. Divers are getting footage, which is rare. It was rare until like a year ago.
Man, this drum mix. I ain't gonna get no problems playing Jet Boy from 1988. There they go. Jet Boy. All right, they ain't having it though. Back then, there was no digital ID. I think back then, credit cards were even hard to get. Everybody paid cash. If you own a nightclub or a bar, Epic Journeyman, Rio, everybody's paying cash, man. You're sitting there at the end of the night, a busy night, fucking piles of cash stacked up to the sky. Nobody knew how much was in there. You're like, yeah, well, I got this pile of cash, but I don't know. I can't remember how much it was. Do you remember, Bill? No, I don't remember. I think it was, I don't know.
$42. Yeah.
There's no way to
Exactly.
know. There's no way.
There's still a lot of cash out here, you know. At least where I am, you know, there's a lot of places that they don't take anything but cash.
Yeah, cash is king, Jack. Cash is king. But, I mean, the thing is, it's untraceable and untrackable, so to speak. I mean, we're under the impression that when we pull out cash, that it's just a transaction or whatever. But unbeknownst to anybody, you're probably being monitored. Your phone's detecting your elbow, going for your, well, actually, your phone doesn't have to even detect your elbow because you're paying on your phone. So there you go.
Well, with cash, so it could even read the cash. A lot of times they have the strips and stuff in them now, right? So, the phone knows that you got went to the ATM machine, got $200 out, and then it knows every time, like I said, the motion tracking, the gait tracking and arm tracking, all that kind of stuff. The fitness watch and all those things. It knows when you reach for your pocket. It knows you're at the bar, or it knows you're at the grocery store. Yeah. You can kind of figure out your
what
behavior.
What was that bracelet called? That
I think scary. Yeah, I forgot what that thing's called. I actually got one from work.
Yeah, there was a bracelet that was it put out by Amazon? Who put that out? You remember, Rio? That bracelet? We did a show about it. It was a bracelet, and it was tying into this whole other system that Amazon had, the door cameras and all that shit.
The Ring and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah, it was tied into Ring, and then Ring was being networked. And then this network also includes any other cameras or whatever once you sign.
All your electronic device, not just electronic devices, all your smart energy saver devices, energy smart devices. So your washing machine and your dryer and your freaking refrigerator.
What was that fucking bracelet? What's that bracelet called, man?
I forget. I have one.
If you know what it's called, give us a call, 718-618-9905. What is the name of that bracelet? Yeah, so what's going to happen when you go down to buy your cocaine, like this dude Buck Cherry just talking about? Buck Cherry.
Well,
how you going to go buy your cocaine if if you don't have a phone? You go, hey Bob, I don't have a phone. See, no one tracks me. I don't have a phone. But guess what? The other guy that you're there with, he does have a phone, and the other 3 people are there have a phone, and their phones are all scanning the area, and they detect a body in that area, and they detect a face in that thing, and then that face, scans the Facebook, and there you are. I mean, you like to play volleyball and golf,
there's recently been several reports of people that they have, let's say, a husband has a wife, right, and a family, and they all have, let's say, iPhones. So they're all part of their same little family network, right? And the husband has a little bit of infidelity, so he goes out and he cheats with some girl, and maybe they send messages back and forth.
And maybe the girl gets a ride in his car and her Bluetooth connects to the car. And then one day, the wife looks on her iPhone group and sees that there were messages sent from some unknown number to her husband. And then she drives the car and notices that there was this same number has hooked up to her car's Bluetooth automatically, the smart system there. And so then she finds out by monitoring that her husband is cheating. So this is a real scenario that is happening.
And
many
that's
times.
good. And that's good that you brought that up. And that's important. And let me just say this. How does somebody know that that isn't being spoofed? You have to be fucking verified. And so the thing is, until you, that very instance that you just named out right there, that very instance right there could be utilized to turn someone's life into a living hell. And it was all AI, and it was all AI generated, and you're not on that video, and that isn't you, and that wasn't your car, and so on and so forth. But the thing is you once that happens, what are you going to do? You're going to cry. You're going to say, that wasn't, I don't know what happened, that because you didn't do anything, and it wasn't you. But it looks like it was. Now your whole life's ruined. Your wife divorces you. All this shit happens. Right? That's all. Is that all it's going to take for somebody to do that to somebody, and then just and anybody pick anyone, and then you can find out who to do it to just by going to Palantir and buying a membership, right? Epic Journeyman. I mean, really, you could just figure out exactly who you could do that to and why you could do it to them, because maybe you already know shit about their relationship. Shit about the relationship because of whatever, because you're constantly scanning the internet. Like I said, perimeter intrusion detection. It's not bodies or things moving in the perimeter. It's the AI literally scanning and scanning until, it's scanning so fast. The minute something comes up, it knows it came up. It came up. It pulls out the file. It looks at it. It puts it back. That's how quick it happens. Anything that happens, it just gets sucked into this vortex of information and then pumped back out at you in some way, because it takes that information, turns it into an equation, turns it into a situation that will provide you with the exact thing that you're looking for, whatever it is.
Yeah, one side, the people who have access can use that to manipulate you, but then the AI itself can use this profile that it wants you to do and nudge you in a certain direction, right? Just by little recommendations or little things popping up or in your peripheral view that show up on the LED screen that's hooked up to the Wi-Fi that, like we're talking earlier with the headlights and the TVs and everything else, our devices.
All of a sudden.
That ring, by the way, it was bracelet, and ring was the Aura, I think the OURA, and it got Fitbit, I think, bought it out for the bracelets, and now it's Aura's still the rings. Yeah, I remember you brought it up back in 2017,
I was going to try to find,
I think, and they remember the post of it went away. It got 404 or went back to go get it. I remember that.
But I was trying to. I wanted to. There was an ad for it, and basically it said, basically it was this whole thing going. It's listening to you, and it hears the tone of your voice when you're interacting with somebody, a family member or somebody in your house. It hears the interaction in your voice, and then it says to you, have you ever thought of, it kind of directs you and says, you sound a certain way right now. Maybe what you should do is it gives you recommendations. Oh, well, and it just goes back to what we're saying is these sensor systems have been put out there in a weird way. In other words, the weird way that these sensors are being out there, being trained in the world right now, the weird way, in a really rudimentary format. It's rudimentary in the sense that it's just being done, but as it progresses, it'll get faster and faster in the ability to do the scanning of everything. But right now, it's in the rudimentary stages. Rock and Rio, do we got a call coming in?
Yeah, kinda.
All right. What do you mean, kinda?
Well, if they keep dialing and hanging up.
They're calling and hanging up? Oh, all right. All right, well, listen, so...
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hello?
Hey, 778. Turn down your radio. There you go. There you go, 778.
Yeah, it's amazing, Randy.
Hey, Randy, what's going on?
Put up...
You're cutting in and out, son. Can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Stop
Hang
moving.
on, I gotta get closer.
Stop moving. Stop
There we
moving
go.
your. Stop moving your
Yeah.
flip phone. Go ahead.
Okay. A couple of things. This is, besides being Friday night, it's the anniversary of the assassination of President Kennedy.
Yes, it is.
And what amazes me is nobody's even talking about it.
No, they're not. You know
that's
why?
one thing.
Because World War III is about to happen. That's why. That's what they're
Well,
talking
yeah,
about.
that's
Well, I mean,
true.
I'm just saying,
People's,
across the plane across the plane right now, the big flags that are going up and the things that are being said, and we
Yeah.
haven't talked about it tonight either. And I'm glad you brought it to our attention and reminded us. I mean, I didn't know, but I mean, at this point, we're so far beyond the JFK assassination. It's like I heard some dude today. I heard Alice Cooper on Alice's Attic. I was driving to the liquor store, and I heard Alice's Attic, and I heard him give me this. He gives these weird facts, and he was saying that some dude owned Einstein's eyeballs. They own them as a piece of property, and they stuck them, and they're in a safety deposit box in New York City. And
I heard somebody owns Einstein's brain. Next door.
exactly, yeah, that's what I mean. There's the brain too.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Seriously? Okay, so
Yeah, really.
there you go. I mean,
By the way, Einstein wasn't as smart as people think he was. His wife was actually smarter than he was. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. The other thing about JFK is that JFK Jr. is still alive. Now, I've been putting out my theory about that on Red Radio for years, and it's been confirmed by Kerry Cassidy.
yeah. Well, listen,
on a
Kerry.
program.
Listen, Kerry Cassidy and JFK Jr. can go have a tea party on Mars. They can jump through
Yeah, I
the
know.
time gate and flex reality and just jump in there.
Yeah, I
and
know.
go
I know.
party.
You can take it or leave it.
No, but I've
Yeah,
seen.
but what I'm
Listen to me.
saying-
Hey, listen to me. I've seen video of Obama spinning records. He's in the DJ booth with his hand on the vinyl, and he's got his hand on. He's spinning records, and people are dancing. And apparently, it's Mars, from what I understand. I don't know. Randy, check into it. We appreciate your call.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Well, one thing else, I got to bring up. I have this kind of idea that the assassination in Pennsylvania may have accounted for Trump getting elected. Because just imagine if that assassination never happened in Butler, what the difference might have been in Pennsylvania as far as the voting goes.
Well,
Think
listen,
about
I'm
that
going to
for a
tell you what
second.
happened in Pennsylvania. Okay, somebody made an effort with the Amish community to register the Amish. And they registered those
Interesting.
Amish, and those 60,000 Amish showed up. And those were 60,000 people that nobody expected. And let me
Yeah.
just say, don't ever discount the Amish.
Oh, I
No,
wouldn't.
No. And that's
Good
what you know.
point.
Because of the
Actually.
milk ban, right? They banned the raw milk. They destroyed all the raw
Yeah,
milk.
banned
and
raw
stuff.
milk. Yeah, I know.
And Scott
Yeah.
Pressler went out there and got them all signed up. Yeah, he was like the.
I know. I
Fabio
just bought some pet.
Yeah.
I just bought some grass-fed milk today, and I was thinking about that. Actually, raw milk's good for you. That's
It
a good
is
point.
It is
Jimmy.
good for you. All right. Well, I'm glad you approve of my point, Randy. And I just give you something to ponder, later on tonight. Think about it. The thing is
Interesting.
you got to say to yourself, you want to keep, if there was a community, say, like the Amish, you want to have that community stay viable. And that's why for most part, people leave the Amish alone to do their thing. And it's because if the shit was to hit the fan and things
Exactly.
went back to the way they were, you need to have people that know that, because when there's no electricity and there's nothing and you got to farm and you got to do everything, someone has to know how to do that. The same thing with
That's right.
with native peoples. Even though they decimated the native populations, they kept a little group of them around to keep the old ways going. so that when the shit breaks down and the shit hits the fan and there's nobody left and there's these small bands of these people that still know the old ways, that will move forward again, just like from the 1800s, just like we talk about with Dr. Rowe, where we say, hey, look, there was technology going on up until a certain point, and then for some reason the population was gone. And then another reason what happened was we saw this influx of these orphans. Where did these orphans come from? I mean, I don't know. Is there that many promiscuous people back in the 1800s just having premarital sex all over the place, dumping out all these, where the orphans come from? Who taught everybody how to farm? Well, they sent them out to farms. If you got an orphan, yeah, give me one of those blonde, blue-haired, blue-eyed orphans down here. I need a boy. I need 3 boys down here. And they send them down
orphan
to
trains. Yeah, they're totally a play. I mean, the Star Wars Jawa sandcrawler that are selling the droids, right, for the farms. That's exactly what the orphan trains were. It's based on that completely. Maybe not directly, but I'm sure that's what
they
it's
were
going
Amish communities they were being sent to, probably. You know what I mean? Because everything started from there, and then you just teach a new history. The new history is coming.
Exactly.
All right,
I
Randy.
gotta say,
Randy.
Earl, you're one of my favorite people.
Who is?
Dr. Rowe.
There you go. Dr. Rose.
He's one of my favorite.
He is He is worldwide, man.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite Knights Templar.
Me too. He's a good man. All right.
Anyway, goodbye, you guys.
Good
Have
night.
a good one.
Take care. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Seven 718-618-9905 is the number to call. So hey, I hung out with Charlie Robinson, and it's coming out tomorrow, Sunday, on his channel. So go check that out. I don't know how it turns out as a show, but it was definitely a great conversation that I had with my buddy, and it was good to talk to him again. We talked a little bit about the Party for Cognitive Liberty, and so might be having him on the show here into the microcosm here coming up in the next couple of weeks. 718-618-9905 is the number to call.
We have another call.
Got another call? 270. Welcome into the microcosm. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, this is the lady with the landline phone.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Living. Anyway, the Amish aren't so healthy.
No?
Nah, they might be healthy as young, but they end up sick like everybody else.
Yeah.
Unless they stay in the garden.
That's
I
interesting.
went to one of those little clinics where they took your, they scanned your whatever. You had the little test and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was a whole table full of Amish sick folk. You could tell they probably had all kinds of things wrong with
But didn't they?
them.
But hold on a second. Doesn't the Amish community, if there's a sickness, don't they all get together somewhere at the same time and all get sick, and then build immunities up to it? That's what I've heard.
I don't know, but they get sick like everybody else unless they only eat garden food, because that's where all diseases come from.
Yeah.
Other than the garden.
Right. I would agree with
Take
you.
of any animal product, you're taking in disease.
I agree with you 100%.
But anyway, like I said, people think Amish are, they're good folks, but they still go to and buy junk food.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
see 'em
saying
come in
I'm not
groups,
saying
so-
they don't, but what I am saying is that what they don't do is they don't go with any sort of advanced technology, and the reason they don't is because as technology goes further and further and faster, older people lose their ability to keep up with it and understand it. So they get left behind and sit in their house and have to take drugs and all this other shit that the doctors are pumping down their throats. So, but the difference is with the Amish, they don't utilize this newer technologies. And so what happens is, as a person, you're able to be a producing member of the community for longer. So that grandpa knows how to use a plow, grandpa knows how to strap a horse, grandpa knows this, grandpa knows that, you know, grandma knows, everybody knows.
Sure.
So
but
they're able,
they
so they
don't live only from the garden. They're not going to live any longer.
right, but
Nothing
what
to do
I'm
with that.
saying
They
is,
still partake of other things other than the garden food.
yeah, well, I'm
I
not
mean,
saying
most
that,
of the ones I've met,
Right,
because I
I'm-
go out there and buy produce from them. If
I'm
I
not
can't
saying they don't.
do well myself.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, there's a whole TV show called The Amish Mafia. You know, there's
Yeah.
lots of people within the Amish
This
community.
beautiful fight court.
Hold on, there's lots of people in the Amish community that use, you know, that go outside the rules. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is
Yeah, but
preserving.
anyway,
we're,
they're not so. They still. Most of them still eat what they shouldn't eat, so they don't live any longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Well, hey,
Because I've met a lot of them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I have discussions with some of them.
yeah, I know, I get you. I understand. I'm telling you, man. You know, I used to watch that.
Because they sell to the community. You know what I mean? They're from their garden.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't crop. But they don't. They keep using the same fields over and over. They might crop rotate, but I don't know if they let the land go fallow and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they use horses and all that. But they still partake of some technology because they have stuff sent to them.
Sewing
Some of the
machines.
boxes.
Yeah, sewing machines, I think. All right,
Well,
listen.
no. Well, the sewing machines can be adapted with the foot pedal because I've got one now that could be done. You know.
Uh-huh.
But I'm telling you that they're not the greatest of health either.
Well, I wasn't even really talking. I wasn't
that
really.
they're so healthy.
I
Better
wasn't-
go and check the elderly.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to suggest they were healthy. I was just trying to suggest
Well, a
that
lot of
they.
people do because they don't take a lot of the vaccines, you know. But
Oh.
still, they partake of animal products, you know, like they have chickens and all that, and they eat beef and all that. So they're getting just as sick as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they only eat garden food, that's the only way you're going to stay healthy.
So you're saying Zebediah has been taking that blanket money and buying a lot of Milky Ways and Snickers.
Yeah.
Well, but they still buy a lot of junk food because I watch them come to the salvage store in groups. I mean, go home with their Lucky Charms and that for their kids. So,
Yeah.
so whatever, guys. Love listening, y'all.
We love you. Thanks for calling.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Seven 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Listening to Mike Crowden Revolution .radio. It's the Independent Broadcasting Network, freeworld.fm. Rockery, are we going out on freeworld.fm?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Wasn't sure. Dr. Rowe, are you still there?
I am.
Excellent. So what are you going to do today now? You're calling, and it's super early in the morning over there. So you're about to head out, go for a walk, get a croissant and a real espresso. Do people still pack espresso into the...
It's about it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. The sun is up. I'm probably going to go to the gym. I've actually been doing a couple hours of cardio, since I've gotten to Spain.
for a few months, and I can take my belt in like 4 notches. It's the spare tire is pretty much gone, and my clothes are starting to fall, which is good. I'm trying to get back into some sort of semblance of humanity shape, so I can almost blend in as a Spaniard now. I'm no longer kind of a fat Americant.
Well, there you go, man.
So
See,
yeah,
look at a positive.
Getting back into the group. I'm going to the gym. As soon as I get off this call, I'll be heading down there and going to go on the elliptical for an hour and do several miles, and so
all right,
that is my plan.
Somebody look and see what XRP is right now, just to see if it. I mean, it was
$1.51 last I checked.
$1.51, so it went down from $1.69 to $1.51.
Again, I might have had bad info.
Check
so I was early at the beginning of the show.
Check it again, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never can tell. You know what I mean? You never can tell. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. We only have so much.
$1.54.
We only got about 10 minutes, or no, not 10 minutes. We got 6 minutes left or something. So if you want to call, it's best to do it now. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Rock and Rio. Be ready to take those calls. I know there's people clamoring. There's someone right there right now thinking about it, saying to themselves, I want to call, but I'm not sure if I should. Well, now's your chance. You got 6 minutes. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific, it's the Chilluminati. The Supreme Order of Magnitude on YouTube.
Love is a fever and is burning me alive. It can't be tamed or satisfied. There is no mercy for the fallen nor for the weak. Love is a nasty word to speak. I don't wanna love him anymore. He's nothing like the man I loved before. But the pain gets real comfortable when it's all you got. Ashes and smoke, they can't compete. Not even hell can take the heat. I'll be sliding off of my seat for this flame. This love is like fire on the floor. It's got me running for the door, but I'll be crawling back for more of his fire on the floor. It don't matter what you say, you can't survive it, there ain't no way. So tonight I'm gonna stay and play with his fire on the floor. Wanna play with his fire on the floor, child. This kind of love don't need no bed or satin sheet. Nothing soft or sweet to drink. Love is a lesson.
Exclusively, Shaka the play. Yeah, Long Beach double star alongside with
718-618-9905. That's the number to call. Hey, I heard MAGA means witch in Latin. I haven't checked it out, but I heard it.
Rise the occasion and we gonna rock. Easy goes
So, Mr. Rowe, are you gonna hop back into your Monday crypto show?
Yeah, doing that once I get settled in, probably in Malta, and everything's set up. I'll be doing the crypto show again. Yep.
Sweet, man. Well, now's the time, I would say. I don't know, man. Who knows? Like I said last time, I just don't want to be on the outs like I was last time. You know, last time I was like, man, I got a flip phone and I don't sign up for Google or whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I didn't even have a cell phone for a long time after I got sick, from working with it. But eventually I got coaxed back in, because you cannot have, you can't exist in this world without this.
I was the last person when I worked at TRW to get a cell phone in the company.
Yeah. Well,
but I was also the first person to do remote access to my servers.
Well, the thing is, pretty soon you're going to be able to put your Wayfarers on, your Ray-Bans. You don't need the phone anymore because now it's just going to be in the ear holder. It'll just be right up against the side of your skull. You don't even have to have it in your ear. It just transmits.
Maybe an earwig.
Earwig. Yeah. Einstein's Eyeballs. Alice Cooper thought that was a good name for a band. I think he's right. Einstein's Eyeballs are in a safety deposit box, ladies and gentlemen, in 2024.
Thanks for having me, guys, and I just want to wish everybody well, and as they say out here in Spain, hasta luego.
Hasta luego, my friend.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and we don't need any...
It always comes out, luego.
We don't need no stinking badges. Hey, there's a reason they don't talk... Right. There's a reason they don't talk about Spain, man. I'm telling you, that's where all the stuff is. All right. Revolution Radio, see you later, alligator. There goes Revolution Radio. It's freeworld.fm, send to the microcosm. Rock and Rio, Epic Journeyman, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific, eh?
Yes, sir.
Right on. All right. We'll see you guys